Greetings, everyone. This evening, we embark on a journey into the intricately detailed and frequently misinterpreted world of Roman prostitutes and their daily lives. Before you settle in, I invite you to take a moment to show your appreciation by liking the video and subscribing, but only if you truly find joy in what I share with you here. Share with me in the comments your location and the time on your clock as you join this journey. It's truly captivating to witness the diverse individuals coming together from every corner of the globe. Let us lower the lights, perhaps activate a fan to create a gentle background hum, and prepare to embark on tonight's adventure together. As you emerge from the depths of slumber, or perhaps more fittingly, as awareness floods back into your mind, you find yourself in a cramped space, just shy of being able to pivot without jostling against the cold, unyielding walls. Congratulations. You reside in a cellar reminiscent of an ancient Roman work-from-home arrangement. If your dwelling were a broom closet and your occupation demanded body oil, these chambers were the common quarters for countless women toiling in the heart of Rome. Nestled within brothels, lupanars, or perched above taverns and bathhouses, these were small, windowless rooms that served as both home and place of labor. Imagine a cozy nook crafted by a soul who shuns the warmth of sunlight, the freshness of air, and the comfort of solitude. Your mattress is a humble creation, filled with straw and perhaps a few unwelcome guests, carrying the scent of wine, smoke, and the echoes of unmet dreams. Should fortune smile upon you, a humble oil lamp may flicker in the shadows. Should fortune smile upon you, it remains untouched. Your meager belongings, a bit of inexpensive makeup, a comb, and perhaps a bronze mirror if fortune smiles, are huddled in the corner as if they too are weary of their surroundings. In this place, the absence of running water looms large, and plumbing is but a distant memory. A solitary bucket sits in the corner, a silent reminder that one must navigate the discomfort of its presence, even if it's best left unthought of. Ah, the art of bathing. Later, we shall embark on a shared adventure at the closest public bathhouse, where the waters flow together and the unspoken glances are abundant. Yet there's little time to relax, for your space doubles as your workspace, and the hours of operation are dictated by the sound of a knock, an unexpected entrance, or a shout from beyond the door. Indeed, the notion of privacy is a relatively contemporary idea. In the heart of Rome, the walls whisper tales, and the doors stand as mere embellishments, inviting curiosity. Each day unfolds with a swift tiding of the space, banishing the remnants of yesterday dust, wine stains, and the forgotten sandals of last night's guests. Next, we embark on the preparation, a dusting of face powder, a touch of rouge, and a cloud of perfume that could ignite the air itself. Your aim isn't to exude a pleasant fragrance. In a quest to outshine the scent of the fellow waiting just behind you, you find yourself navigating the delicate dance of aromas. You hone your most alluring half-smile in the warm glow of the bronze mirror, not for its effectiveness, but for the solace found in the act of pretending. Once, a customer painted you as charmingly awake, and that compliment still lingers in your heart. In this cellar, each day unfolds in a familiar rhythm, cramped, hurried, yet infused with just enough dignity to carry you through to lunchtime. As the first light of dawn breaks through the narrow confines of your humble abode, the stage is set for yet another day filled with the art of captivating clients and navigating the gaze of the crowd. Yet, before we delve deeper, let us consider the practices of cleanliness, or what was deemed as such in the days of ancient Rome. Alas, the absence of a private bathroom is a reality we must face. Such opulence is a privilege of the affluent. Yet even they merely possessed vessels filled with aspirations. In a bustling city that reveres its marble statues while turning a blind eye to the open sewers, your most reliable refuge lies in the closest public fountain or bathhouse, swayed by your mood and your comfort with the potential for awkward nudity. When time is of the essence, and let's be honest, it often is, you find yourself opting for a swift splash at the shared fountain. Gently splash water upon your visage, apt Perhaps swish some fine wine in your mouth if you're feeling extravagant. And cross your fingers that the fountain has not served as a makeshift chicken wash earlier in the day. In the absence of soap, perhaps you possess a touch of natron, a crystalline powder that not only cleanses your skin but also polishes your spirit. When the pace of trade slows and the coins in your modest purse begin to jingle, you may find yourself indulging in a trip to the public baths, a splendid equalizer of the Roman world. In the bustling gathering, you can find merchants haggling, soldiers boasting of their valor, philosophers deep in thought, and of course, that one fellow who can't help but share his rather personal ailments with the world. You shed your layers, placing your possessions in a nook you rely on a bit too much, and step into lukewarm water, surrounded by drifting musings and the remnants of another's neglect. Within the confines of the steam room, beads of sweat gather. On your skin, as you wield a strigil, its curved metal glinting in the haze. For a fleeting moment, you bask in the glory of being the cleanest soul on your street, a title that, alas, slips away in mere minutes. Once you've emerged from the bath, you towel off, spritz on a touch more perfume, and ponder whether the world has yet seen the invention of deodorant. They have not. To complete the ensemble, a dusting of chalk-based face powder, a touch of rouge to grace the cheeks and lips, and a sweep of kohl to frame the eyes, not to showcase your beauty, but to conceal the weariness. Clients prefer not to encounter the woman who has already navigated the complexities of 3 senators and a sailor before the clock strikes noon. They seek enigma, charm, and a presence that is far from the scent of aged legumes. With the scent of cleanliness enveloping you, or at least a charming fragrance, the moment has arrived to don your attire. In the midst of Roman society's intricate views on fashion, there existed one particular outfit that spoke volumes. The toga worn by women. Indeed, a toga. That elegant white attire we often link to dignitaries, rulers, and lively gatherings. But wait for the unexpected turn. In the heart of Rome, a woman draped in a toga was not making a political statement. She was crafting a polished version. It was a striking display, proclaiming, "I'm not a respectable matron, and I'm open." For negotiation, in the world of ancient Rome, the stola was more than just a garment. It was a symbol of a woman's place in society. Draped in layers, it whispered tales of marital duty in the early hours of rest, reflecting the control of a husband over her dowry and the expectations placed upon her life. In contrast, those engaged in the oldest profession were barred by law from donning the stola, instead compelled to wear a toga often brief, vibrantly hued, and deliberately ostentatious. Imagine something less ethereal and more striking. Easily seen from across the gathering, the ensemble was often adorned with trinkets of modest value, perhaps bronze or glass beads, and occasionally some striking earrings that demanded attention. The aim was not about refinement. It was clarity, in a realm where 20 other women vie for attention within a mere 100 meters. The art of subtlety becomes a rare treasure, one that you simply cannot indulge in. The realm of footwear. Perhaps uncomplicated footwear for the feet, perhaps even without shoes, depending on the setting and finances. Comfort took a back seat. Throughout the day, you will find yourself on your feet, traversing the space, and at times, making a hasty retreat from a difficult client or an overly passionate moralist. The journey of hair was a saga in itself. In ancient Rome, the allure of the streets was enhanced by the vibrant styles of those who walked them. Prostitutes would often curl and dye their hair, embracing a variety of hues, and sometimes donning wigs, particularly those coveted blonde ones, brought in from the distant lands of Gaul. Blonde hair possessed an enchanting allure in Rome, reminiscent of imported luxury soap, yet far more vibrant and spirited. And let us not overlook the final embellishments, cosmetics, with a canvas of pale face powder to highlight the vibrant red of your lips and cheeks, and bold kohl eyeliner to draw attention to your captivating eyes, or perhaps appear a bit more refreshed. Once fully dressed, you appeared unmistakable. And thus, we arrive at the crux of the matter. In a bustling metropolis of 1,000,000 souls, your attire served as your introduction to the world. If it gave you an air of audacity, intrigue, and financial allure, then well done. As the sun rose, you prepared yourself for yet another splendid day. Fully aware of the scrutiny that awaited you from the world around you, all while being supported by its very hands. Ah, so you find yourself adorned, with colors gracing your visage, fragrances enveloping you. And let's hope the remnants of last night's revelry are not too heavy upon your spirit. And now, we arrive at the most exciting chapter. Generating interest in a city where desire simmers beneath the surface, and the facade of shock emerges when the truth of commerce is unveiled. In the grand tapestry of ancient Rome, the art of persuasion was anything but discreet, in a time devoid of pamphlets, absent of websites, and certainly lacking any branding consultants. The tale unfolds. To attract clients, one must make their presence known, create a buzz, or achieve a lasting mark in the world, ideally managing to do all three. Let us embark on a journey through the intricacies of location strategy, in a place like a lupanar, where the walls whispered secrets and stories unfolded. Your workspace was designed for all to see. In the bustling heart of the city, brothels found their homes close to bathhouses, lively markets, and spirited taverns. In essence, any place where individuals may find themselves feeling warm, uninterested, or open to suggestion. Imagine the art of guiding footsteps through time-worn paths. As you stand in the doorway, adorned in your most catching ensemble, you beckon to those who stroll by, weaving together compliments, enticing deals, and urgent invitations that demand attention. To denarii, if you can seize the moment, greetings. It may come across as a bit eager, but here we are. The time had come for rent to be paid, and the girl next door had just slashed her rate to a mere $1. For those in the freelance world, it was truly a journey of exploring the vast landscape of visibility. Perhaps you find yourself lingering by sacred temples, where the air is thick with the allure of divine inspiration and temptation intertwined. Or you might be drawn to the lively taverns, poised to engage with a merry legionary, whose pockets still jingle with coin and whose judgment dances on the edge of folly. Yet one might argue that the most peculiar and strangely impactful method of Roman promotion. Artful expressions on urban canvases. Indeed, Pompeii has captured the brilliance of ancient street marketing for all time. The walls of the establishment were adorned with handwritten testimonials proclaiming, "Maritimus provided me with the most unforgettable experience of my life." Or, "Felicia, 2 denarii for swift service." These weren't merely acts of vandalism, they were echoes of a time when reviews were carved in stone, raw, unrestricted, and undeniably exposed to all. Some women even hired someone to inscribe their name and specialty in a prominent spot, often near the entrances of taverns or on columns. Some allow their clients to take the pen, resulting in a spectrum of expressions from effusive accolades to bewildering verses that ponder the experience of being swindled. This revelation illuminated a singular truth. The art of survival for a sex worker hinged not only on their craft, but also on the ability to captivate and engage an audience. Without recognition of your name, your rates, and the spark of your enthusiasm, the opportunity was likely slipping away to someone else. In ancient Rome, much like today, the key to success often lay beyond mere talent. At times it was merely a matter of polished presentation. Thus, you have presented your tale to the world. With the perfect ensemble, the striking eyeliner, and a sprinkle of bravado, you're ready to don a facade of cheerfulness.
How we embark
On the tale of pricing, a chapter where ancient Rome dons the guise of a free market, all the while casting its discerning gaze upon you. Let us clarify. In the absence of unity, there lay a void. Prices danced to the rhythm of supply and demand, swaying with the whims of the marketplace, where one might find themselves negotiating with nothing more than a loaf of stale bread in hand. For those toiling on the streets or navigating the lower echelons of lupanars, the cost of goods could dwindle to a mere 1 or 2 asses. A humble bronze coin that barely suffices for a single glass of wine. Indeed, some clients were offering less than what one would spend on a good meal, should that evoke a sense of gloom. Keep in mind that some women embraced food, sandals, or even mere promises as their form of compensation. Indeed, In a city brimming with wealth beyond measure, the echoes of IOUs lingered on. Conversely, high-end prostitutes, often referred to as meretrices, functioned more akin to luxury brands. These women could demand payment in denarii, silver coins, often collecting several from each client, particularly if they possessed talents that extended beyond the confines of the bedroom. Dialogue, melody, verse, fundamental literacy, anything that allows a client to feel they weren't merely engaging a business, but rather an experience of flavor. Some individuals in the trade even carved out their own unique spaces, not in terms of architecture, but in the realm of marketing. Perhaps you found your niche among sailors, captivating them with sultry dances, or enchanting them with poetry woven into the very fabric of the moment. Do not chuckle, for Ovid may very well have sparked inspiration in another soul. The more distinctive your brand, the more irreplaceable you become. Returning clients may receive a discount, or perhaps they won't. The outcome hinged solely on their punctuality with payments or the lingering scent of fermented cabbage. If you found yourself under the thumb of a pimp or brothel owner, a significant portion of your hard-earned money vanished before it ever graced your hands. In a time long past, there existed women bound by chains of servitude, receiving nothing but the bare essentials of food and shelter. Their hopes rested on a distant dream, a whisper of a chance that one day, through the fickle hand of fate, they might secure their freedom by winning the elusive Roman lottery. Step into the lupanar, a place steeped in the tales of ancient Rome, where stories of passion and intrigue unfold within its walls. While it may lack opulence, it boasts walls that lend it a sense of dignity, far surpassing the experience of toiling behind a tavern. In essence, it serves as a hub of commerce. In truth, it unfolds as a stifling labyrinth of poor choices. Upon a time, the word lupanar found its roots in the ancient tongue, where it was born from the word for chevalf, lupa, which was employed by the Romans as a colloquial term for a prostitute. Indeed, your role was perfectly mirrored by the creature you were likened to. While it may not inspire a sense of empowerment, there is a certain reliability to it. Many lupanors stood as two-story structures nestled tightly between bathhouses and bars, ideally positioned to attract the flow of half-drunk senators and restless sailors within these walls. A slender corridor unfolds, flanked by diminutive chambers, each housing a rugged stone bed, a slender mattress, and just enough room to ponder. The path's not taken, no doors, only curtains, embracing that free-flowing open space atmosphere. Secrecy. That was a possession of the affluent ladies. The air is thick with the scent of damp linen, and the rhythmic sound of snoring seeps through. The wall, a reminder of the life that continues beyond your own space. Rest assured you are not solitary in this journey. True lupanar boasted a collection of industrious women, alongside a charming figure known as the Leno pimp, or leaner. Madam, they were tasked with claiming a portion of your hard-earned money, assuring you of repairs that would never come to fruition, and from time to time, raising their voices with demands like, "Hurry up, he matters." From anxious youths to perspiring warriors and receding-haired politicians insisting their presence was merely for intellectual discourse. The clientele was as diverse as it was intriguing. Some came and went quicker than a coin slipping through fingers. Some attempted to share their verses, but truth be told, they fell short. In those quiet moments, you would find yourself by the entrance perfecting that alluring yet hollow gaze, beckoning to those who wandered by. Marketing revolved primarily around sheer volume. 2 coins. A rare moment today. I shall feign my attention. Indeed, the walls bore the vibrant marks of graffiti, timeless reviews carved with care into the very walls of history. Felix made his presence known, not once, but twice. While Ties certainly knows how to create memorable moments, from time to time a creative soul would pick up a pencil and bring forth images to life. The measurements seldom aligned with reality. Yet there was always an abundance of confidence. Life in a lupanar may not have sparkled with glamour, yet it offered a steady rhythm, a reliable beat in the unfolding tale. With a shelter to call your own and a place to rest, if you look closely, you'll find that you're granted an unparalleled view of the most peculiar procession of human existence. Not every Roman courtesan plied her trade in a lupanor. Some found themselves drawn to, or were destined for, the equally enchanting realm of taverns. If the brothel resembled a frenzied office cubicle, the tavern felt akin to the vibrant atmosphere of an open-air startup, albeit with more vomit and fewer stock options. In the lively taverns known as Colpine or Popine, the spirited souls of Rome converged: drunkards, merchants, off-duty soldiers, and those hapless fellows named Gaius, burdened with gambling debts. Here, they would raise their cups, fill the air with raucous laughter, in feigned comprehension of the great Virgil's verses. For those plying their trade in this place, the guiding principle was straightforward. Pour the wine, weave the allure, sidestep the advances. In a usual shift, one would find themselves pouring diluted wine into grimy cups for patrons who, quite frankly, wouldn't discern the difference at all. With your other hand, you danced on the edge of flirtation, skillfully ensuring the denarii continued to flow, all while deftly avoiding the spark that could ignite a brawl, unless that clash was captivating. In that case, proceed onward. In contrast to the brothel, taverns presented themselves as food establishments, offering a charming ambience filled with the aromas of boiled cabbage, fish sauce, and the unmistakable scent of body odor. It was a scent that wrapped around your tunic in your very essence. It had also signified an opportunity to enchant a client. For just 2 more coins, I'll overlook the pungent scent of garum that clings to you. In the shadowy corners and hidden alcoves, some women toiled away, transforming the tavern into a clandestine haven, where table service mingled with whispers of a part-time brothel. Some preferred a lighter approach, providing companionship, cozy lap-sitting, and playful, suggestive remarks such as, "Your toga is looking pristine." This was a commendation of great significance in Rome. Compensation frequently arrived without delay. There was a time when credit was but a distant concept, a whisper in the winds of commerce. When a client sought to postpone, you possessed choices: shout, intimidate, or seize the bouncer. A figure often resembling a seasoned warrior with a single eye and a fiery disposition. The silver lining? In the lively atmosphere of taverns, one could find a bustling crowd and, on occasion, more generous patrons. The drawback? In the bustling world around you, you balanced the roles of a waitress, therapist, and a hostage negotiator. Yet the art of emotional labor went unnoticed, leaving you without a single tip for your heartfelt efforts. And naturally there was the perpetual melody that accompanied it all. Amidst the raucous shouts and the rhythmic clacking of dice, players weave tales of deception, all in a bid to capture the attention of their fair companions. Occasionally, spirited debates erupt, passionately arguing the origins of democracy itself. The tavern duty unfolded with an air of unpredictability, draining energy, and carried a scent that whispered of despair, yet it kept the lights on. Times, unless the patrons decided to unleash their stomachs upon your sandal first. For the bold dreamer, unbound by traditional ties and overflowing with self-assurance, the street was always a canvas waiting to be painted. Freelance work in Rome involved navigating the delicate balance of autonomy and the ever-present fear of legal repercussions. The Roman streets buzzed with the promise of adventure and the murky waters of sewage. Women of the night, known as prostitutes, wandered through the shadowy alleys, lingered at the entrances of bathhouses, navigated bustling marketplaces, and sometimes graced the steps of temples. For what could be more serendipitous than presenting a discount right outside? The sacred shrine of Venus? The daylight hours brought a fair flow of traffic, yet they carried an air of danger. Amidst the throngs of curious onlookers, you weaved through the stares of inquisitive townsfolk, the scrutiny of meddling officials, and the ire of discontented wives who believed your very presence was a threat to their husband's restraint. Alas, it was not as one might have hoped. Your attire was a vibrant tapestry woven to capture attention and spark intrigue. Envision brief tunics, dazzling adornments, perhaps a wig crafted from exquisite German locks. It was not merely a subtle charm, it was a spectacle that could be. Seen from the farthest reaches of the Circus Maximus, the aim was to seize the attention of a client before his wife noticed his misstep. Engaging with a potential customer required a nuanced interplay of charm, precision, and the careful avoidance of any misinterpretations that could lead to uncomfortable assumptions. With a warm smile, you'd admire his sandals, effortlessly weave. In your rate before the watchful eyes of the local vigils and street guards deemed your spirited venture a disruption to the peace. Some clients approached with a courteous demeanor, while others displayed a relentless frugality, and a handful seemed utterly bewildered, merely seeking guidance to the bathhouse. In no time, you became adept at distinguishing them primarily by the intensity of their gaze and the number of coins that danced in their pockets. The battle for supremacy was intense. You faced more than just your fellow competitors. You found yourself in a world filled with free-spirited lovers, spirited party girls, and former gladiators seeking new adventures. All were striving to earn a denarius. In a world devoid of advantages, where safety was but a distant dream, with nothing but your charisma, cleverness, and the remarkable skill to stride swiftly in sandals. Some wielded small knives, while others placed their trust in the sturdy bouncers of the nearby taverns. Some hoped that the patrons of the evening would not be deep thinkers grappling with their own uncertainties. Amidst the swirling chaos, the street scene revealed its hidden charms. You crafted your own schedule, reaped the rewards of your efforts, and enjoyed the freedom of not having anyone hovering over you. Indeed, the role had its share of whimsical challenges, like a tipsy goat or a deep-thinking heckler. Yet there was a certain freedom in being the captain of your own ship, especially in a town where authority figures often wore a less than heroic mask. Imagine, if you will, the life of a Roman prostitute. It's already fraught with challenges, and then enter the scene. Your least favorite client, the Roman tax collector, indeed. The Roman Empire, renowned for its brilliant engineers and conquerors, of the Mediterranean champions of togas, also introduced a specific tax on prostitutes. In the grand tapestry of Rome, there existed a curious mechanism known as the vectigul ex capturis, a clever device that wove even the most uncomfortable moments into the very fabric of the city's public infrastructure. Haza, your valiant deeds have once again brought forth the bounty of a new aqueduct. The tax was more than mere unofficial pocket skimming. In this realm, a system endorsed by the state unfolded, overseen by skilled collectors known as publiconi individuals who possessed an unsettling blend of monotony and menace. They meticulously chronicled every transaction, insisted on cash payments, and likely critiqued your choice of fragrance as they jotted notes on their wax tablets. In order to ply their trade within the bounds of the law, prostitutes were required to register with the aediles, the Roman counterparts to city inspectors, known for their penchant for paperwork and a sense of moral superiority. Upon registration, you found yourself inscribed in a formal roster of those engaged in the world's oldest profession. Imagine stepping into a collective, much like a trade union, but devoid of any perks. Instead of receiving a card, you would bear a mark, quite literally. Indeed, certain individuals in the sex trade, particularly those who were enslaved, bore marks or tattoos such as looper or the name of their owner. If you're curious about the emotions it stirred in clients, rest assured, the branding didn't resonate with them. It was to guarantee that you wouldn't be able to masquerade as honorable in the future. And thus, the tax rate emerged. The experience shifted with the setting, the social standing, and the nature of your clientele, be they melancholic lawmakers or budget-friendly warriors of the arena. Yet, it consistently left a sharp ache. Compensation varied by act or by week, influenced by the region with no allowances made for the weight of emotional toil, the pauses that lingered uncomfortably, or the shadows of existential unease. To decline payment could lead to penalties, imprisonment, or exclusion from employment. Though the application of these consequences was often inconsistent, particularly for those engaging in clandestine transactions or possessing the charm to sway an edile. Yet, for a vocation already drenched in prejudice, this tax felt like a further blow to the wounded. Rome was essentially conveying its disapproval of your way of life. Additionally, we would appreciate a share of 10%, but look on the bright side. You can take pride in knowing that your hard work is contributing to the construction of another temple, likely honoring a goddess who remains indifferent to your pleas. In the heart of Rome, the life of a prostitute was one marked by a peculiar blend of legal acknowledgement and relentless scrutiny from society. Indeed, the law embraced prostitution, allowing it to flourish under a framework of taxation, regulation, and even registration. Yet, that did not deter every senator, priest, and weary philosopher from expressing their disapproval of you frequently. While adjusting their tunic with a swift motion, in comes the moral guardians, not a formal force-wielding batons, but an extensive, unpaid assembly of senators. Priests, matrons, and writers, each convinced it is their sacred obligation to cast shame upon you, all the while relishing the rewards of your toil in secret. At the pinnacle of hypocrisy stood the Roman Senate, a cadre of seasoned elites who championed the preservation of Roman virtue, in fervent condemnation of moral decline, all the while keeping careful accounts of every establishment from the Forum to Suburra. Next came the aediles, the esteemed public officials of Rome. They were tasked with overseeing brothels, examining the establishments, and occasionally imposing fines on women for being too overt about their trade, which paradoxically is mandated to be apparent. Your attempts at subtlety are as clear as day. Writers such as Juvenal and Seneca reveled in their craft. In their verses, they ridiculed those of the night, women who dared to delve into the written word, and yet these same writers painted vibrant, intriguingly detailed portraits of brothel life, as if they had delved deep into the shadows of their subjects. Even the esteemed wives of the Roman elite took part in the judgment. They would glide by your street corner, their silence heavy, their eyes sharp enough to wither a fig tree in an instant. Some even sought to enact laws that would prohibit prostitutes from adorning themselves with jewelry or stepping into public baths, which is quite ironic, given that many of their husbands regarded visits to the bathhouse as if they were clocking in for a part-time job. Toiling as a Roman courtesan brought with it a host of perils, including illness, harm, and the mysterious affliction left by that sailor from Brundisium. Welcome to the health and wellness chapter, where the only remedy is a dash of hope and a sprinkle of resilience. Let us embark on a journey into the realm of a significant topic: venereal disease. In the days of ancient Rome, the understanding of disease was shrouded in mystery. Yet the wise among them recognized that certain encounters could leave one with far more than mere coins and verses lacking in charm. In ancient Roman writings, one can find vivid accounts of ailments, often a blend of vinegar rinses, herbal salves, and fervent supplications to Venus. The journey of pregnancy loomed as a constant shadow, a worry that never quite faded away. In a time when the birth control pill was yet to grace the shelves, alternatives existed for those brave enough and willing to invest in their choices. In a time long past, women of the night turned to the earth for their needs, relying on the potency from a plant now lost to history, its very existence diminished by the relentless hands of those who sought its benefits. Animal intestines fashioned into rudimentary condoms and wool tampons infused with herbal mixtures. How effective is it? In a realm that dances on the edge of possibility, where hope flutters like a fragile whisper, lies the enchanting space between uncertainty and the extraordinary, should the miracle of life take place. The situation would undoubtedly become intricate. Some women nurtured their pregnancies and brought their children into the world frequently. Within the very walls of the brothel, some entrusted their infants to foundling homes, while others left them to the mercy of the open streets. Though infanticide was not sanctioned by law, the act of ignoring it lingered in the shadows. That felt like an obligation to the community. In the realm of everyday troubles, whether it be aching muscles, minor wounds, or the tempest of stress-fueled outbursts, the favored solutions often leaned towards a glass of wine, a touch of opium, or perhaps a sharp reprimand from a more resilient companion to silence the complaints. If that didn't work, one might find themselves at a temple dedicated to Asclepius, lying on the floor in hopes of receiving a healing dream during the night. In the realm of ancient wellness, the experience was not merely a weekend retreat at a spa. It was a journey into the mystical. Hygiene had grand aspirations in a time devoid of gloves and antiseptics. A scene unfolded where hands ventured into realms they ought not to touch, with no one pausing to cleanse themselves before such audacious acts. And let us not overlook the weight of emotions carried within. Struggles with darkness, echoes of the past, and the weight of worry, all woven into the fabric of the experience. In ancient Rome, the concept of therapists was absent. There were companions in the trade, bottles of wine flowing, and the rare, wandering feline that offered an ear without a hint of reproach. In a city where the whims of the divine were held responsible for everything from floods to flatulence, the women of the night found themselves navigating more than just the streets. They were also sidestepping the weight of moral scrutiny. They sought to remain in the favor of the divine, or perhaps to offer a token in exchange for health, fortune, and a clientele that required little upkeep. In the heart of Rome, the practice of religion consumed the lives of its people as the divine presence loomed ever watchful, ready to assess, and at times unleash their wrath. Yet among the celestial assembly there existed a handful of deities, who were, shall we say, more forgiving of your craft. In the beginning, there was Venus, the enchanting goddess of love and beauty, often leading mortals into the realm of questionable choices. In their intimate spaces, numerous women of the night crafted small altars in her honor. With a flourish, flowers, fragrant perfume, and a shiny coin were presented, all in the hopes of drawing in wealth, allure, or at the very least clientele. Who carried a scent more pleasant than that of boiled goat? And so it was that Fortuna, the divine embodiment of luck, arrived. In the unpredictable tapestry of your daily earnings, where treasures could swing from a gleaming gold bracelet to the disappointment of 3 moldy grapes and a mere promise, the presence of Fortuna loomed large, casting her whimsical shadow. Over your fortunes? Perhaps you dan a charm that captures her essence or whisper a fleeting prayer as a customer, adorned with an abundance of rings and impeccably clean sandals, steps through the door. Yet the realm of faith was not merely adorned with sparkle and allure. In the shadows of conviction lay the whispers of superstition, the signs of omens, and the enchantments of magical defenses. For in moments of uncertainty, one must turn to the unseen forces that weave through our lives. One might light fragrant incense to shield against the malevolent gaze, bind crimson threads around the ankle for safeguarding, or even enlist the services of a skilled enchantress to cast a spell upon the hairline of a competing courtesan. Please, hold your laughter, each one telling tales reminiscent of vengeful reviews from a bygone era. May her words wither away, her clientele dwindle away, as she stumble upon the unexpected and find herself in a rather unpleasant situation. In times of bondage, one might find solace in invoking Mercury, the deity presiding over trade and dealings. Let's face it, your life unfolded like an endless scroll of transactions. And if fortune smiled upon you and you managed to gather enough for your liberation, Libertas, the revered goddess of freedom, received a personal altar adorned with a candle of a finer quality. This spiritual endeavor transcended mere tradition. It was survival with a touch of elegance. When Rome bestowed upon you judgment, affliction, and uncouth senators, the divine served as your human resources. Often overlooked, sometimes insightful, and forever open to gifts. In the intricate tapestry of the Roman world, the notion of love intertwined with the complexities of prostitution, revealing a narrative rich with nuance. At its finest, it was a charming illusion, and at its worst, a costly burden wrapped in fabric. Clients often found themselves enchanted, or so they professed, typically after a trio of wine glasses and a heartfelt soliloquy about their mothers. There were those who spoke from the heart, others who were lost in their cups, and a few who sought to bargain for a better deal. But darlin', I stand apart, they'd whisper, grasping your hand like a heartbroken bard, and you would nod with a courteous smile, all the while tallying in your mind the debts that remained unpaid. Some working women mirrored these sentiments, or at the very least feigned them. The weight of emotional labor came with the territory. Smile, lend an ear, and feign that his toga is free from the scent of hopelessness. For a select few clients, you may find yourself crafting something truly tangible. Connection, warmth, or perhaps simply the weariness shared between two souls. Yet time and again, romance emerged as a perilous diversion, particularly when one recalled that in Rome, the law deemed you infamous, a label that barred you from marrying a citizen, regardless of your desires. That did not deter the brave souls from their attempts. Once upon a time, there were enchanting tales of those who sold their affection, weaving dreams of love with their loyal patrons. They were promised the sweet taste of freedom, the bliss of marriage, and a charming home adorned with a garden. Yet, like fleeting shadows, they found themselves forsaken the instant another woman, adorned with more alluring eyeliner, strolled by. Among them were clients who truly cherished their beloved companions, bestowing upon them gifts heartfelt, poems, and at times even the rare act of liberation, a legal gesture of setting a slave free. These tales are indeed present, yet they stand as the exception rather than the norm. Among those who shared the same struggles, genuine connections were more likely to flourish. Together you toiled through the trials, faced the same jeers, and even battled the same pests. Some of these friendships blossomed into deep sisterhoods. Some blossomed into tender unions, discreetly thriving under the watchful eye of Roman patriarchy, which held the belief that a woman's heart could only be captured by a man adorned with a collection of swords, and naturally, there were the tales you spun for yourself. That one day you'd break free, that your most valued client would whisk you away, that if you could just tuck away a bit more, you'd open a charming perfume shop in Ostia and leave it all behind. Perhaps it was merely a figment of imagination, yet in Rome, each soul wove their own enchanting tale. Your version arrived with a more enchanting glow and a touch of humility in its promise, in the vibrant tapestry of the Roman world. Beauty served as the currency, while youth dictated the exchange rate. What unfolds when the rosy hue fades, the client drifts away, and your joints begin to creak more audibly than your sparkling accessories? Uncomplicated, though time has passed, your presence remains ever vivid in the tapestry of life. There were women who, through diligent saving or the serendipity of finding a client with both resources and resolve, found a way to reclaim their freedom from the bonds of enslavement and embark on a new journey. The fortunate ones established taverns or bathhouses, offering rooms to the hopeful souls of the next generation. Some transformed into Madams the Liney, overseeing the brothel with a commanding presence where the focus shifted from passion to authority, filled with more shouts than whispers. As a seeker of knowledge, age or beauty held no sway over your journey. One had to possess a keen edge, an aura of intimidation, and a mastery of menacing words that danced around sandals and lingering debts. You orchestrated the schedules, balanced the books, and ensured the curtains held just a hint of the uncanny. Clients held a deep-seated apprehension towards you. Workers feigned admiration for you. Eagles let out a soft breath as they caught sight of your approach. Other retired individuals, from the world of intimacy, embraced the art of divination. After all, when you've listened to every secret and witnessed every misstep enter the room, foreseeing disaster becomes an instinctive art. A handful transformed into unofficial therapists, wise souls or herbalists, dispensing advice tinged with wit and a dash of dubious medical insights. Yet, many continued their toil, for Rome rarely extended the courtesy of pensions to women who had devoted 2 decades to the toga. Seasoned individuals in the trade continued to find patrons, skillfully adapting their approach to attract interest. More seasoned and composed, with a quiet strength, embracing the art of poetry, while the allure of one's appearance held significance. The weight of reputation carried its own profound importance. A woman celebrated for her engaging dialogue, warmth, and astonishing insights. The allure of astrology readings may continue to captivate hearts and minds long after her prime has passed, for those without savings, without benefactors, and without a stroke of luck. The choices were far from generous. You pleaded, you scrubbed sacred spaces, you toiled in laundries until your hands became withered like ancient olives. Rome held no concern for the journey of aging, only that it unfolded in hushed whispers, yet here lies the truth that remains unetched in stone. For countless souls, merely enduring was the triumph. Reaching old age with your sharp wit still shining, and at least one sandal still holding together, you had already woven yourself into the fabric of legend. When one envisions ancient Rome, images of marble statues, eloquent speeches, and emperors with dubious lineage come to mind. What often remains unseen: a woman stands in the doorway of a brothel, her fingers deftly adjusting her wig as her mind races through the numbers. Weighing the coins she must gather to stave off hunger in the days to come, Roman prostitutes operated. Not merely in the shadows, they remain ensconced in the shadows of history. Meticulously erased from the grand tale, so the young minds can absorb the wonders of aqueducts without grappling with the disquieting truths that lie beneath. And so they appeared in every corner, in the vibrant world of graffiti, within the pages of legal records, through the lens of satire, in the lines of poems. The whispers of love letters, the rawness of curse tablets, and the simplicity of receipts. Indeed, genuine receipts. They were woven into the fabric of daily Roman life, even as society regarded them as morally tainted. Background. What often gets overlooked in history is the tendency to portray these women as either helpless victims or morally dubious seductresses. In truth, many possessed a keen sense of strategy, remarkable adaptability, and, if we may be bold, were more astute in business than a good portion of the Senate. They possessed the art of understanding a client, skillfully negotiating terms, sidestepping peril, and carving out a livelihood in a city that celebrated gladiators and cast stones at those who dared to dan the wrong footwear, and they each had their own unique essence. Some were bound by chains, while others roamed free. Some served the affluent, while others welcomed anyone with a couple of coins and a less than pleasant aroma. Some loathed each passing moment. Some shaped their own little realms of influence. In habit, most found themselves in a space of quiet struggle, much like the others in Rome, feigning energy, despite the weariness that lingered beneath the surface. The tales they spun were seldom penned by their own hands. Instead, they lingered in the minds of poets seeking vivid metaphors, in the hearts of moralists clutching their pearls, and in the hands of archaeologists uncovering the most tantalizing wall scribbles of Pompeii. Yet, what stands out is this: they remain in sight. In the intricate dance of stone carvings, in the sharp wit of graffiti, in the tangled web of laws and their clever loopholes, and in the fleeting whispers of love poems. These women were stripped of their dignity, yet they remained a vivid part of existence. They toiled diligently. They shared a hearty laugh. They were deceived. They shed tears. And they persevered through the trials that came their way, all devoid of marble statues or gilded tombs. Merely a whisper of ink upon a decaying wall. Maritima graced this place, and every coin spent was a treasure well earned. So the next time someone spins a tale about the grandeur of Rome, keep this in mind. In the shadows of every toga-clad philosopher, there thrived a diligent woman, nurturing both the economy and the whispers that danced through the streets. In the realm of the Vikings, the clang of battle echoed through the air, and with each clash, wounds were an inevitable companion. Wounds etched deep by swords, the cruel bite of axes. Bones shattered in the fray, and the searing touch of both flame and frost. In the midst of the chaos of battle, or the quiet of the village, it was the Lechnia, the healer, who answered the call to mend the broken and soothe the suffering. In a time long past, there existed individuals of great respect within their communities, weaving together the practical wisdom of herbs with the rich tapestry of Norse spiritual traditions. In the heart of a Viking healer's collection lay a revered herb yarrow known as Achillea millefolium, renowned for its remarkable power to halt bleeding. Yarrow found its place in the hearts and practices of those across northern Europe. In the days of the Vikings, healers would take the leaves, crushing them with care, and apply the potent mixture directly to wounds. Sometimes alone, other times blending them into a soothing poultice. Yarrow played a vital role, staunching the flow of blood and warding off infection with its remarkable properties. Whispers of its sacred properties echoed through the ages, with tales intertwining its might with the very essence of Odin. The crafting of these remedies unfolded with a careful precision, steeped in the rich tapestry of cultural tradition. With careful hands, the healer would cleanse the wound using boiled water steeped in antiseptic herbs. Then gently apply crushed yarrow, securing the area snugly with strips of linen or animal skin. In certain instances, sacred chants are heartfelt. Prayers were woven into the fabric of the process, calling upon the divine for protection or healing. The journey of healing transcended the mere physical realm. It delved deep into the spiritual essence as well. Beyond the scars of battle, yarrow found its place within the body, serving a purpose that transcended the external. A brew crafted from its blossoms and foliage may hold the power to lower fevers, soothe digestive troubles, or provide comfort during menstrual discomfort. Once upon a time, there existed a remarkable plant thriving in the diverse landscapes of the Viking homelands. It could be spotted flourishing in fields by the gentle banks of rivers, nestled within the small garden plots, lovingly tended by the women of each household. In the heart of Viking society, the healers possessed a profound connection to the world around them. They possessed the wisdom of the land, understanding the rhythms of nature, the art of gathering at the right moment, and the secrets of storing, the bounty to sustain them through the cold, shadowy months ahead. Wisdom flowed through the ages, shared lovingly from mother to daughter, or imparted from elder to eager apprentice. In a tapestry woven from the threads of Germanic herbal wisdom and the vibrant tales of Norse mythology, these traditions come alive, each element telling a story of its own. In a realm untouched by hospitals or the wonders of modern antibiotics, the art of the healer and the magic of plants such as yarrow became vital for survival, fortifying the spirit in a culture where warriors thrived, as yarrow tended to bleeding and surface wounds. The Viking healers embarked on a quest for deeper remedies in their relentless battle against infection. Among the most esteemed herbs in this context was angelica, scientifically known as Angelica archangelica. This tall, fragrant plant boasts hollow stalks and showcases umbrella-shaped clusters adorned with delicate greenish-white flowers. In the frigid realms of Scandinavia, it flourished, held in such high esteem that it found a place in the gardens of monasteries, continuing to be nurtured long after the age of the Vikings had passed. In the realm of early Northern European medicine, angelica emerged as a cherished figure, renowned for its wide array of healing qualities. In the days of the Vikings, skilled healers harnessed the power of nature, utilizing the root, leaves, and seeds to craft an array of remedies for the ailing. Traditionally, the root was carefully dried and then infused into decoctions, a time-honored method to combat internal infections. It was celebrated for its ability to warm the body, invigorate circulation, purify the blood, and ease inflammation. The healing essence of angelica played a crucial role in mending infected wounds, particularly those that had suffered from neglect or were tainted by dirt and decay. In a quiet corner of the world, a healer would take the root, grinding it with care, blending it with animal fat or beeswax to craft a soothing salve. With gentle hands, they would then apply this remedy to the festering wounds, hoping to bring relief and healing in the days of old. When the world was a tapestry of natural remedies, the infusion of angelica, whether steeped as a tea or crafted into a tincture, emerged as a guardian against respiratory infections, fevers, and digestive troubles, ailments that loomed large and could spell danger in an era devoid of antibiotics. Yet, angelica's abilities reached far beyond mere physical restoration. In the rich tapestry of Norse cosmology, there existed plants imbued with divine energy, each one a whisper of the god's presence in the natural world. The name, angelica, with its Latin roots, resonates with the deep spiritual reverence that envelops this remarkable plant. In the heart of Christianized Europe, whispers spoke of a divine revelation from an angel, a promise of healing to vanquish the plague. In the realm of Viking belief, a tapestry of differing views emerged. Yet they too cherished the notion that certain plants were bestowed upon them by the divine. With its captivating aroma and striking presence, Angelica surely wove tales of protection and sacred strength throughout the ages. In the heart of the home, women, the wise herbalists, turned to Angelica, a cherished remedy for gynecological ailments. In the heart of Norse society, it was believed to hold the power to regulate menstrual cycles and ease the profound and perilous journey of childbirth. With its esteemed reputation as a purifier, Angelica found its way into smoke rituals, serving to cleanse homes and fend off disease in times of illness. In every Viking community, whether nestled in remote farms or bustling coastal trading towns, Angelica stood as a vital pillar of natural medicine. Its power and significance rendered it a steadfast companion in the healer's journey to safeguard life amidst a harsh and unpredictable realm. With the arrival of spring in the Viking realm, a precious elixir emerged, one that held the power to soothe fever and banish fatigue: birch sap. In the heart of Scandinavia, the birch tree stood tall. It's not merely as a provider of timber, but as a vibrant sanctuary of healing and life. In the early whispers of spring, the Vikings approached the ancient tree, gently tapping its bark to gather the clear, subtly sweet sap that flowed upward, a lifeline to the budding leaves, eager to embrace the warmth of the sun. In this enchanting time of year, a delicate dance of skill and timing unfolds. For the sap flows only briefly before the tree stirs from its slumber. In the heart of winter's grasp, healers turn to the sweet essence of birch sap, cherished tonic for those worn down by the cold, battling illness, or recovering from stubborn fevers. It was presented either in its fresh form or transformed into a subtly alcoholic beverage, celebrated for its invigorating properties. With its abundance of minerals, electrolytes, and natural sugars, birch sap serves as a revitalizing elixir, quenching the body's thirst and replenishing energy reserves, particularly after the draining effects of illness or prolonged fasting. In a time when the science of nutrition was yet to be formalized, the healers of the Vikings understood the remarkable healing properties of this natural treasure. In the realm of fever, wise healers would blend the sweet essence of birch sap with the soothing infusions of cooling herbs like meadowsweet or elderflower, crafting remedies steeped in nature's wisdom. This soothing blend worked wonders, lowering the body temperature while providing nourishment to the patient. In more serious cases, the sap could be blended with bitter herbs, such as wormwood, a concoction intended to cleanse the body of what was thought to be detrimental humors. It was a straightforward tale: to cleanse, to restore, to relence it. In addition to its internal applications, the birch tree played a significant part in external remedies as well. When the bark was boiled, it yielded a thick, tar-like substance known for its antiseptic qualities. Once upon a time, it served as a remedy for skin infections, minor burns, and bites. The leaves of the birch tree found their place in poultices and steam baths, serving to draw out toxins from the body. This practice was often intertwined with prayer or ritual, creating a harmonious connection between the physical and the spiritual realms. In a world woven with meaning, the birch tree stood as a beacon of renewal and purity, its presence whispering tales of fresh beginnings and unblemished beauty. In the aftermath of land being cleared or scorched, it was frequently the first tree to rise anew. Its remarkable ability to regenerate, bestowing upon it a sacred status in the rich tapestry of Germanic and Norse traditions. The sap's role in healing embodied this belief, restoring vitality to the ailing and holding the promise of renewal after trials. In the healer's practice, birch sap emerged as a seasonal gem, a crystalline, life-sustaining potion that signified the shift of the seasons and the enduring vitality in a harsh and frequently unforgiving landscape. In the ancient practices of Viking herbal medicine, juniper held a place of honor, celebrated for its remarkable ability to cleanse, touching both the body and the spirit. In the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, where the earth is both harsh and beautiful, juniper bushes thrive. Their sharp needles and fragrant berries, these resilient plants have long been cherished by healers, who regard them as invaluable allies in their ancient practices. Boiled or brewed juniper, served as a means to cleanse the body, the air, and the very essence of the spirit. In the realm of herbal remedies, juniper berries have long held a place of honor. Celebrated for their diuretic properties and their role in alleviating urinary tract infections, when brewed as a tea or decoction, they invigorated kidney function, aiding the body in expelling excess water and unwanted substances. These proved to be particularly beneficial in times of sickness, characterized by swelling, bloating, or persistent fevers. The berries possessed gentle antiseptic qualities, enabling them to combat infections from the inside, a vital role in a time devoid of antibiotics. In the realm of respiratory relief, the smoke of juniper emerged as a crucial ally. In ancient practices, healers would take dried juniper branches, setting them ablaze to release a fragrant smoke that would envelop the room or tent, all in the hope of banishing illness from those within. It's held a deeper significance. In the embrace of juniper smoke, the air found its cleansing touch, as antimicrobial compounds danced through the atmosphere, purifying it with their unseen magic. In times of illness or following the loss of a loved one, the Vikings would engage in a ritualistic cleansing of their homes and ships. The ritual intertwined the tangible and the ethereal, casting away both the visible and the unseen. In the warm embrace of steam baths, in the sacred spaces of sweat lodges, a rich tradition woven through the tapestry of northern European cultures unfolds. Here, juniper branches, with their aromatic essence, were often placed upon the heated stones or mingled with the water, fusing the air with their ancient wisdom. As the vapor ascended, it bore the crisp, refreshing aroma of the plant, filling the lungs with vitality and prompting beads of sweat to form. It was believed that this practice would purify the body of impurities and restore harmony to the spirit. Allowing one to reconnect with the natural rhythms of health and the earth, juniper was steeped in ritual significance. Over doorways, branches may be suspended to keep malevolent forces at bay, while travelers might carry them in small bundles for their safeguard. The robust, grounding aroma embodied strength, serving as a testament to endurance. Its role in healing whispered that purification intertwined with the invisible energies, just as much as it addressed the tangible afflictions of the body. In the lore of Viking healers, juniper transcended the role of a simple remedy. It emerged as a powerful emblem of renewal and protection, a steadfast guardian that shielded the delicate human form from the tumultuous forces of the universe. With its sharp needles and potent berries, they warded off illness. One breath of smoke or a sip of tea weaving, a tale of resilience and healing. In the realm of ancient Viking healers, one herb stood out among the rest: meadowsweet, or Filipendula ulmaria. This cherished plant was renowned for its remarkable power to soothe pain and quell inflammation. In the lush embrace of damp meadows and beside the gentle flow of riverbanks, there thrives a fragrant plant adorned with creamy white flowers, once cherished as a vital element in the herbal traditions of early Germanic and Norse cultures. In a time when words were few, the wise healers of the Vikings understood the ancient secrets of nature. They knew that certain plants held the magic to soothe fevered brows, ease the burdens of pain, and guide the weary body back to health with tender care. In the realm of natural remedies, meadowsweet emerged as a cherished ally. It's known for its soothing touch on headaches, joint discomfort, digestive woes. In a world where the sun beat down relentlessly and the earth was often unforgiving, the vibrant flowers and sturdy leaves were carefully dried and transformed into soothing teas. These brews were offered to those enduring the trials of fevers and the nagging discomforts that accompanied the toil of daily labor, a testament to resilience in a challenging climate. In the tapestry of healing, this herb wove its calming threads, becoming a cherished ally in the journeys of illness and the paths of recovery. Little did the Vikings know, meadowsweet held within its delicate blooms compounds akin to salicylic acid, is the very foundation of what we now call aspirin. This innate capacity to alleviate discomfort sheds light on its remarkable efficacy and widespread application. The healers may not have understood the intricate dance of chemistry, yet they were intimately familiar with the outcomes it produced. a decrease in fever, diminished swelling, and a sense of comfort restored. During the winter months, when colds, joint pain, and respiratory infections roamed freely, these benefits took on a significance that was hard to overlook. In the realm of digestive discomfort, meadowsweet emerged as a soothing remedy, offering relief from the trials of nausea, heartburn, and stomach cramps. The soothing essence of this herb worked wonders for the stomach, often mingling with companions, like chamomile or mint, whenever they graced the scene, to weave a more comprehensive remedy. The plant's sweet scent wove a comforting thread into healing rituals, where the sensory and the medicinal danced together in harmony. Meadowsweet's influence extended far beyond mere physical healing. Its fragile, nearly otherworldly essence connected it to the rhythms of nature's endless dance of growth and decay, of life and death. In the tradition of Viking healing practices, one might find that the flowers were not merely for their medicinal properties. Instead, they were woven into the fabric of rituals, perhaps placed gently beside the ailing, or incorporated into solemn burial ceremonies, all in hopes of smoothing the passage to the great beyond. In the ancient tales and the whispers of folklore, one can find references to fragrant herbs bestowed upon humanity by the divine, or the very spirits that dwell within the earth. In a realm where valor was honored and the art of restoration was cherished, meadowsweet emerged as a subtle yet formidable companion. It provided a sanctuary for warriors to find solace, offered a healing embrace for children, and wrapped the elderly in warmth during their twilight years. For the healer, it was a cherished companion, a steadfast ally in their nurturing journey. Mugwort, known as Artemisia vulgaris, was revered in the practices of Viking healers. Cherished not just for its medicinal properties, but also for its role as a spiritual ally, renowned throughout Northern Europe for its sharp scent and shimmering foliage. Mugwort held a revered place among the sacred plants of Germanic tradition. In the realm of Viking societies, healing transcended mere physicality. Mugwort emerged as a vital link, weaving together the body, the mind, and the mysterious realms beyond our sight. In the realm of healing, mugwort has long been revered for its ability to address a multitude of ailments. It provided relief for digestive issues, menstrual irregularities, and fatigue. The leaves were transformed into a soothing tea, a remedy for stomach cramps, a gentle nudge for the appetite, and a loyal ally for the liver. In the days of the Vikings, women turned to the ancient herb mugwort, a trusted ally in the rhythms of their bodies, guiding them through the cycles of life and the trials of childbirth. In a realm where midwives and formal obstetrics were but a distant dream, the wisdom of healers regarding the sacred herbs became a lifeline, essential for navigating the trials of pregnancy and the miracle of birth. Mugwort possessed remarkable qualities that soothed the nervous system, bringing a sense of calm and tranquility. For those brave souls who faced the turmoil of restless nights or haunting dreams, the soothing essence of mugwort, whether brewed as tea or wafted as smoke, was believed to bring harmony to the spirit and shield the mind from shadows. In the quiet moments after a battle or an illness, when sleep eluded the weary, there existed a gentle remedy. The fragrant smoke of dried mugwort, when burned near the bedside or tucked beneath the pillow, would weave its magic, inviting the restless to drift back into the embrace of slumber. This was more than mere superstition. Numerous fragrant herbs possessed gentle, calming properties, yet beyond its healing properties. Mugwort wove itself into the fabric of ritual and enchantment. In the ancient times of the Vikings, healers and wise women, known as Valor or Sidekunner, harnessed the power of mugwort in their sacred ceremonies, calling forth dreams, protection, and visions from the unseen realms. At times, it was set ablaze. During the sacred rituals of cedar, a mystical practice of the Norse that entwined trance, magic, and the art of prophecy. The ascending smoke was thought to send forth prayers to the divine, or to fend off malevolent spirits. In the sacred moments of solstice ceremonies during the shifting of seasons, or in the depths of emotional turmoil, healers may turn to the ancient wisdom of mugwort. Imagine a bundle of mugwort, a guardian of sorts, hung over the door to ward off negativity. Picture it nestled in a pouch, accompanying you on your journeys, or resting upon your body, silent ally during healing rituals. The sharp aroma and vibrant essence of this plant marked it as a guardian of thresholds, a companion for those navigating the delicate moments of transformation in body or spirit. To the Viking healer, mugwort held a significance that transcended its mere existence as a plant. In a time long past, there existed a revered companion, a bridge between the realms of healing and enchantment. On a path to regain their physical strength, but also toward a harmonious connection with the universe and the divine, in the vast collection of remedies wielded by the Viking healer. One stood out for its practicality and potency: garlic. Though it did not originate in the cold lands of Scandinavia, this remarkable bulb had journeyed across Europe, finding its way into the hands of the Vikings through early encounters with the British Isles, the Frankish territories, and the bustling markets of the East. The powerful aroma and remarkable healing properties of this herb wove it into the very fabric of early Norse medicine, serving as a vital ally against infections, parasites, and the ever-looming threat of disease. Long before science could explain it, the world recognized the remarkable powers of garlic, revered for its ability to fend off harmful bacteria and fungi. In the days of old, Viking healers wielded the power of crushed garlic, crafting poultices that served to cleanse wounds and ward off the threat of festering. This ancient remedy was especially vital for those who bore the scars of battle or the trials of travel. When placed upon cuts, garlic possesses the power to vanquish harmful microbes and soothe inflammation. Despite the discomfort it brought, this treatment proved to be a safeguard against more severe infections during an era when even the slightest injury could lead to dire consequences. Within the confines of the kitchen, garlic found its way into meals in various forms, raw, crushed into pastes, or steeped into potent brews. Legend spoke of its power to bolster the immune system, cleanse the blood, and provide warmth to the body in times of sickness. In the biting chill of northern winters, when colds, fevers, and coughs roamed freely, garlic emerged as a cherished remedy. At times it was blended with honey, a potent antimicrobial, built to soften the bold flavor and amplify its healing properties. Garlic served as a remedy for parasites, particularly intestinal worms, which thrived in an environment marked by inadequate sanitation and regular interaction with livestock. A blend of garlic and vinegar was carefully given in modest amounts to cleanse the body. Its sharp essence rendered it a powerful, purifying force, while its connection to life imbued it with deep significance in the healing practices of the Norse. Beyond the physical realm, garlic was thought to ward off wicked spirits and dark forces lurking in the shadows. In the quiet corners of homes, healers and family alike would often weave together strands of garlic, hanging them near doorways and in the sacred spaces of sleep. This was not merely a remedy for ailments, but a shield against the invisible threats that lurked, particularly in the shadowy moments of sickness, conflict, or the miracle of life. It acted as a healing balm for the body and a protective charm for the soul. In the lives of Viking warriors, garlic served as both a remedy and a shield, woven into the fabric of their daily existence. In times of preparation for raids or journeys, it is said that some would partake in it, believing its strength and fire to serve as a protective shield within their very being. Thus, garlic emerged as a beacon of resilience, battling infection, revitalizing the weary, and grounding the body amidst a perilous and shifting landscape. In the Viking Age, the stinging nettle, Urtica dioica, held a significance beyond mere annoyance. It was a plant of great significance. Though it bore a painful sting, nettle stood as one of the most revered and beneficial herbs in the ancient healing practices of the Norse. In the lush meadows, the fringes of forests, and close to the warmth of settlements, it flourished abundantly, a gift readily available to both healers and homes. The plant's healing properties were many, and its ability to thrive in tough environments reflected the strength and tenacity that the Vikings held dear. Nettle served as a remedy, weaving its magic to address ailments tied to blood and the essence of life itself. In the days of the Vikings, healers would craft soothing nettle teas and hearty broths, remedies designed to banish fatigue, restore iron levels, and revive the weary spirit. With its abundance of iron, calcium, and vitamin C, nettle served as a natural tonic, a vital ally during the harsh winters when fresh food was a rarity and illness lurked in the shadows. In times of hardship, whether it be warriors mending their wounds after a fierce battle, or children regaining their vitality after a fever, nettle was a cherished remedy, a gift from nature to restore their strength. The leaves, once dried or cooked to temper their sharpness, were then transformed into soothing infusions through the art of brewing. Legend has it that these elixirs held the power to cleanse the blood, to invigorate circulation, and assist the body in casting away its impurities. Nettle possessed a gentle diuretic quality, proving beneficial for alleviating fluid retention and joint discomfort. Ailments frequently encountered by laborers and the elder members of the community. In the realm of external treatments, the use of nettle often unfolded in unexpected and intriguing manners in the age-old tradition of healing. The art of urtication unfolds, a method where fresh nettle stalks are wielded to strike sore limbs. This intriguing practice aims to awaken circulation and bring relief to those burdened by arthritis or muscle stiffness. Though it brought discomfort, it was thought to restore warmth and vitality to the cold or rigid parts of the body. This approach, while unconventional by today's measures, was deeply anchored in centuries of keen observation and a steadfast belief in the plant's revitalizing qualities. Nettle played a variety of essential roles that extended beyond its medicinal uses. The fibers found their purpose in crafting rope, fishing nets, and even cloth, particularly in those moments when flax or wool were hard to come by. The dual purpose of nourishing the body while supporting daily life wove nettle into the very fabric of Viking culture. In the grand tapestry of nature, the nettle stood as a testament to resilience. It flourished in the chaos of disturbed soil, a resilient spirit that returned time and again, undeterred by the frequent cuts that sought to diminish it. In the realm of Norse society, where the essence of survival hinged on both might and the ability to adapt, the nettle stood as a symbol of those very principles for the healer. It served as a poignant reminder that even the most painful plants could offer solace, and that true strength often emerged from what initially appeared to be detrimental. In the age of the Vikings, the wisdom of herbal medicine flowed through the air, shared in whispers and tales, never captured in formal texts. Instead, it thrived in the art of narration, in the melodic chants exchanged from mother to daughter, in the meaningful gestures of wise women, and in the diligent efforts of healers who wove together tradition, keen observation, and deep-rooted belief. These practices wove together a tapestry of understanding, intricately linked to the rhythms of the natural world and the rich tapestry of Norse beliefs. In the Viking realm, healing was a sacred journey, one that transcended mere physical recovery. It was about mending the spirit, harmonizing the household, and weaving back the unseen bonds that linked them to the divine. In the heart of Viking society, the healers drew upon the gifts of the land, weaving nature's bounty into their craft. They possessed the wisdom of the seasons, knowing precisely which herbs to gather as spring awakened, which roots to dry as autumn whispered its farewell, in the art of preserving medicinal plants to endure the long, cold embrace of winter. In a world where yarrow dances with angelica, birch whispers secrets to juniper, and meadowsweet weaves tales alongside mugwort, garlic stands guard while nettle weaves its own story into the tapestry of nature. Each played a distinct part, yet all were woven into a grand tapestry of comprehending the body in sync with the rhythms of nature. The treatments were not merely physical. They carried a deeper significance as well. Illness can be perceived as a disruption in the tapestry of destiny, a test from the divine, or a discord between the realms of the visible and the hidden. Women were pivotal in preserving and sharing this wisdom through generations. Within the warm embrace of longhouses and the nurturing spaces of farmsteads, wise women tended to the health and well-being of families and communities. Some embraced more specialized roles, such as the vavlur, Seers who intertwined healing with prophecy, frequently summoned in times of crisis. Their craft frequently wove together sacred herbs, spiritual rituals, and heartfelt invocations to divine beings, such as Frigg, Air, or Freyja. Healing transcended mere obligation. It wove a tapestry of connection between the realm of the living and the enchanting world of legends. As Christianity began to spread and Norse paganism waned, the rich tapestry of oral tradition gradually dimmed or intertwined with the emerging religious narratives. In the quiet halls of monasteries, some herbs and techniques found refuge, carefully nurtured and preserved, while others faded into obscurity, snared by the shadows of superstition and fear. Yet the whispers of Viking herbal medicine linger. On in the rich tapestry of Scandinavian folk healing, weaving through modern herbalism and the blossoming curiosity surrounding ancestral plant wisdom. The tale of Viking healers unfolds not merely through the herbs they wielded, but through the rich tapestry of beliefs they safeguarded. In the heart of winter, in the year 1412, a remarkable tale began to unfold in the serene village of Domremy, quaint hamlet tucked away in northeastern France, close to the borders of Burgundy. Here, where nature's power is palpable, and the whispers of the land carry ancient wisdom, Joan of Arc emerged, destined to intertwine the realms of physical and spiritual healing. In those tumultuous days, France found itself torn apart by the dull ravages of war and the chaos of civil strife. In the midst of a conflict that seemed to stretch on endlessly, the 100 Years' War unfolded between England and France, with northern France ensnared in the turmoil. In a time of great upheaval, Joan entered the world as the cherished daughter of Jacques d'Art and Isabelle Romy, steadfast peasants who nurtured their family within the embrace of the Roman Catholic faith. In a humble abode, her family made their home. In a quaint little corner of the world, they tended to a modest piece of earth, cared for a handful of animals, and embraced the rhythm of farming as their lifeline. From a young age, Joan stood apart from the other girls of her class, not because she was taught to read or write, but due to her unwavering dedication and profound religious devotion that shone through her every action. In the tender years of her youth, she devoted herself to the rhythms of home life, nurturing the sheep and finding solace in the church's embrace. In a realm where simplicity reigned, her life was woven with threads of devotion. The whispers she would eventually assert to have heard would find their way to a soul who had already devoted countless hours to prayer and deep reflection. Domremy was a place of conflict and contention. While it remained officially loyal to the French crown, it lay on the edge of Burgundian lands, a faction that had forged an alliance with the English. A shadow of violence loomed perpetually. Occasionally, the Anglo-Burgundian forces would sweep through the region like a tempest, laying waste to crops and setting homes ablaze. Joan would have been surrounded by tales of valor and loss, of noble souls and fierce fighters. In a realm where power shifts like the wind, tales of rulers and their betrayers unfold. In her formative years, the shadows of uncertainty loomed large, accompanied by a haunting fear and an unquenchable desire for tranquility. Amidst the shadows that loomed over France, the tapestry of Joan's childhood was woven with threads of community. In the village, she held a special place in the hearts of the people, often spoken of by her neighbors as kind, devout, and surprisingly earnest for someone so young. In the quiet sanctuary of a nearby chapel, devoted to the Virgin Mary, she would often find herself in prayer, a place where she would later recount the beginning of her divine mission. In those years, the seeds of spirit and emotion were sown, setting the stage for the unfolding journey ahead. In the heart of her village, amidst the whispering fields and sacred chapels, her faith blossomed, her loyalty to the king solidified, and her sense of purpose took root. Far from the grandeur of the royal court, from such modest beginnings, it was beyond anyone's wildest dreams that this young girl, uneducated, unnoticed, and just on the cusp of her teenage years, would one day find herself in the presence of kings, commanding troops and daring to confront the power of empires. The tender age of 13, the course of Joan of Arc's life took a momentous turn. In the summer of 1425, she found herself alone in her father's garden, where a vision unfolded before her eyes, accompanied by a voice that resonated from realms beyond our own. In the beginning, a sense of fear gripped her heart. Amidst a radiant glow, a voice emerged, heralding the presence of figures she recognized as Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret. 3 revered figures in the Catholic tradition. The visions would unfold, becoming more vivid and powerful as time passed. The message resonated with clarity, yet it was nothing short of extraordinary. She was divinely selected to aid in the salvation of France. Her sacred quest was to expel the English from French lands and to guarantee that Charles the Dauphin would ascend as the true king of France. For a young peasant girl, unversed in the ways of war, untouched by the halls of learning, and without a place in the grand tapestry of society, it was a revelation that shook the very foundations of her world. At first, Joan kept her secret close, sharing it with no one. She guarded her visions closely, wary of the skepticism or retribution they might invite. Yet the whispers lingered, compelling her to take action. As the years unfolded, her belief in the authenticity of her mission deepened. Growing stronger with each passing moment, with unwavering dedication, she immersed herself further into the sacred practices of prayer, fasting, and spiritual discipline, convinced that her purity and obedience were vital for realizing the divine purpose. In the year 1428, the landscape of France was marred by deepening political and military turmoil. In the heart of northern France, the English forces had laid claim to vast territories, and the city of Orleans, a vital bastion, found itself besieged. The Dauphin Charles lingered in the shadows of uncertainty, his crown unclaimed and his rightful place shrouded in doubt. At the age of 16, Joan felt a stirring within her, a call to action that could no longer be ignored. She journeyed to the nearby town of Vaucouleurs, seeking an audience with the local commander, Robert de Baudricourt, asserting that she bore a message for the king. Initially, Baudricourt and his companions dismissed her with laughter. The young girl, asserting she was led by a higher power, found few who believed her tale. Yet, Joan's determination knew no bounds. She came back time and time again, her words woven with a conviction that both unsettled some and left others in awe. In time, as whispers of her devout nature spread and tales of her foresight regarding a military misfortune in Orleans reached his ears, Baudricourt finally yielded. He consented to send her, clad in attire meant for men, and accompanied by a guard, to meet the Dauphin. From humble beginnings as a peasant child, Joan's remarkable journey to becoming a military envoy unfolded, guided by visions, unwavering faith, and a profound sense of destiny. In the early days of 1429, a remarkable figure named Joan of Arc made her way to Chinon, where the uncrowned Dauphin of France, Charles, gathered his court. Ah, the path we tread was fraught with peril and stretched endlessly before us. She embarked on a journey spanning over 300 miles through hostile lands, donning the guise of a man to evade notice and danger. As she stepped into the grand hall of the royal court, a wave of doubt and intrigue washed over the gathered crowd. Charles, filled with doubt about her intentions and cautious of deceit, resolved to put her to the test. To start his tale, he donned simple attire and mingled with his courtiers, blending seamlessly into their midst. Joan, unfamiliar with his presence, instinctively recognized him and spoke to him without hesitation. The onlookers were left in awe. She is said to have shared with him insights that only he and his most trusted confidants would possess, perhaps touching upon a personal prayer or an unspoken uncertainty. For many in the court, it was the first whisper of a mystery unfolding, hinting at forces beyond mere understanding. Yet Charles proceeded with care. He commanded that Joan undergo scrutiny by theologians and church officials in Poitiers. Several weeks, she found herself at the center of inquiries regarding her visions, her moral compass, and the teachings she held dear. In the midst of a gathering of wise men, a teenage girl stood her ground, responding with a calm assurance that belied her years. Her assertions and acknowledged her extraordinary character and intellect, even in the absence of formal education. The court's advisors reached a decision. She could embark on a journey to Orleans alongside the army, but first, Joan sought an emblem, a token that would proclaim her not just as a warrior, but as a heavenly messenger. She requested a banner. The banner that came to her was a pristine white, adorned with an intricate embroidery depicting Christ alongside the words Jesus Maria. It transformed into her most cherished possession, accompanying her into every battle as she boldly proclaimed her preference for the banner over the sword. Adorned in a bespoke suit of gleaming white armor, she was bestowed with a sword, ready to embark on her journey. She asserted that a divine inspiration guided her, to uncover it behind the altar of a chapel in St. Catherine Day Fearboys clad. In her armor, with her banner held high and a loyal company of soldiers by her side, Joan readied herself to embark on the march toward Orleans. At the tender age of 17, she stood, brimming with youthful zeal and unwavering conviction, believing wholeheartedly that a divine mission had brought her forth to rescue France. With her entrance into the beleaguered city, the stage was set for the dawn of a remarkable military saga that would echo through the annals of European history as the blossoms of spring unfurled in 1429. The city of Orleans found itself ensnared in a relentless siege, held captive by the English for many long months. Their fall would have paved the path to the very heart of France, potentially leading to the unraveling of French resistance. In a time of despair, when spirits were dim and provisions ran scarce, the fate of the Dauphin's cause hung precariously, as if on the brink of an inevitable downfall. And so it was that Joan of Arc made her entrance. As she stepped into the city on April 29th, the air was filled with the sound of jubilant cheers, for the people saw her as a divine miracle gracing their lives. Adorned in gleaming white armor and mounted on a majestic white steed, she swiftly emerged as a beacon of hope and celestial blessing. Her arrival breathed new life into the hearts of the French troops and the citizens, igniting a spark of hope and courage in their spirits. Despite lacking formal military training, Joan's words flowed with confidence and command, calling for swift action against the English fortifications. French commanders, initially reluctant to heed the words of a young peasant girl, soon felt the pull of her unwavering belief. Joan passionately advocated for a bold approach, asserting that her visions had foretold triumph, though she was young. She charged into battle alongside the soldiers, frequently putting herself in the most perilous spots. Her bravery on the field ignited a fire within others, urging them to battle with a fresh sense of resolve. Throughout the span of a week, the French embarked on a bold series of offensives, determined to shatter the siege that held them captive. Joan brandished her sword alongside her banner, inspiring the troops with fervent calls of faith and determination. In the midst of the fierce assault on the fortress of La Tourelle, she found herself struck by an arrow, a cruel wound to her shoulder. With unwavering resolve, she made her way back to the battlefield after tending to her injury, rallying the men to press on. On the fateful day of May 8th, the English, after much deliberation, finally lifted the siege and made their retreat. It was a breathtaking triumph, a turning point that shifted the tides of the conflict. After many long years, the French had finally struck a powerful blow against the English forces. Joan's presence was unmistakable. With her unwavering leadership, bold spirit, and profound spiritual presence, she had shifted the course of events. The triumph at Orleans transcended mere military success. It marked a pivotal moment in the collective awareness of France. The humble maiden from Domremy had accomplished the initial chapter of her sacred quest. With renewed determination, she set her sights on her next ambition, witnessing the Dauphin ascend to the throne at Reims, the hallowed ground of French coronations. A journey toward recognition had commenced. As the siege of Orleans came to an end, Joan of Arc found her purpose transforming, now focused on a goal steeped in significance. The coronation of Charles the Dauphin. In her visions, this transcended the realm of mere politics. It was a sacred decree at Reims, the hallowed ground where French kings once received their divine anointing. Charles stood on the brink of his destiny, ready to embrace the crown that awaited him. Yet Reims found himself entrenched in lands ruled by the Burgundians, steadfast allies of the English. To reach their destination, Joan and the French army would embark on a journey through treacherous territories filled with adversaries. In the face of uncertainty, Joan stood her ground with unwavering resolve. Her unwavering faith that the divine had paved the way filled her with a profound confidence, and soon her conviction began to sway even the most hesitant Charles. Following a series of triumphs in the Loire Valley, with notable clashes at Gersau, Monsieur Loire, and Beaugency, the tide was turning in their favor. As towns yielded to the might of the army, a wave of strength washed over them, lifting spirits and igniting a fervor among the ranks. In July of the year 1429, Joan and the royal court embarked on a remarkable adventure that would come to be known as the coronation journey. As the journey unfolded, cities and castles welcomed us, their gates swinging wide in unyielding hospitality. The tale of Joan's miraculous success had begun to circulate far and wide. It was widely thought that opposing her was akin to defying the very essence of fate itself. In the army, she stood young and resolute, her white banner billowing behind her, casting a spell of invulnerability around her as she rode forth. On the fateful day of July 16th, the valiant French forces arrived at the historic city of Reims. After a moment of contemplation, the city's leaders chose to lay down their arms and embrace a peaceful resolution. On the following day, within the Grand Cathedral of Reims, Charles ascended to the throne as King Charles VII of France. Joan stood beside him, her banner raised triumphantly in the air. For her, it was the realization of the vision bestowed upon her by the whispers of her inner world. In that moment, the air was thick with the sweet scent of victory, as the crown was placed upon the head, marking the dawn of a new era. For the new king and for Joan, a tale unfolds. From a hidden village, she ascended to lead armies and to bestow a crown upon a king. The people regarded her not merely as a heroine, but as a divinely appointed messenger of the Almighty. Her presence turned the conflict from mere politics into a profound quest for the soul. Yet with success came a palpable tension. As Charles took his place upon the throne, whispers echoed through the court, casting doubt on Joan's enduring sway. The stage of politics has once again taken center spotlight. Joan had fulfilled the duty that summoned her, yet her journey was far from over. Her next yearning was to surge ahead, to take back Paris. Yet the once unwavering support she effortlessly commanded was starting to falter. Following the grand coronation at Reims, Joan of Arc set her sights on a daring new goal. The tale of Paris, a city yearning for freedom, caught in the grasp of English and Burgundian dominion. For Joan, the act of reclaiming the French capital transcended mere politics. It was not a matter of political urgency. It was her sacred quest to bring France back to its true sovereign. Yet, not all felt the same pressing need. King Charles VII, fresh upon his throne and mindful of the political landscape, found himself in a moment of hesitation. His trusted counsel advocated for the art of diplomacy, seeking a harmonious resolution through a negotiated truce with the Burgundians. Yet Joan stood firm in her conviction. She held steadfast to the notion that hesitation would only fortify the adversary. Convinced that divine providence had already paved the path to triumph, Charles consented to a daring venture against Paris, albeit with a sense of hesitation. He offered only a handful of troops and postponed the campaign, sapping the strength of the endeavor before it even took flight. In the crisp air of early September 1429, Joan approached the city's gates, her heart steeled for the impending clash. In the heart of Paris, formidable walls stood tall, safeguarding the city, while seasoned English and Burgundian troops fortified its defenses. On September 8th, she orchestrated a bold attack on the Porte Saint-Honor, a prominent gateway of the city. With unwavering resolve, she bore her banner aloft, leading the charge and inspiring the troops with her fervent prayers and steadfast spirit. The clash was intense. The defenders unleashed a relentless barrage of arrows and stones, a storm of projectiles raining down upon their foes. Joan, undeterred by the sharp sting of a crossbow bolt piercing her thigh, stood her ground, resolute in her determination to remain on the battlefield. From her vantage point, she orchestrated the clash, urging her forces forward for yet another bold advance. Yet the assault came to a halt. As darkness descended and the toll of battle mounted, Charles's commanders made the fateful decision to retreat, despite Joan's impassioned pleas to continue the fight. In the annals of history, the thwarted assault on Paris stands as a pivotal moment. Joan's standing held strong among the everyday soldiers and the people of the land, yet within the walls of the court, uncertainty started to take root. Their grip on royal policy began to loosen. Charles, now adorned in the mantle of kingship, found himself drifting away from her once steadfast presence. The shadows of political interests, the trepidation of igniting further discord, and the growing skepticism towards Joan's spiritual influence started to overshadow her past victories. Yet Joan pressed on, unwavering in her resolve. In the ensuing months, she embarked on a series of small campaigns, seizing towns such as Saint-Père-le-Moutier and Le Corite, frequently funding these endeavors herself through the generosity of her supporters. Yet the currents were changing. Her dream of absolute triumph collided with the king's growing wariness. In the face of her injuries, the fading support around her, and the encroaching shadows of political isolation, Joan held steadfast in her belief that her journey was far from over. She pressed on relentlessly, determined to see France liberated, yet lurking in the shadows were whispers of betrayal and the looming threat of danger. As the blossoms of spring unfurled in 1430, Joan of Arc pressed on with her quest, even as the shadows of uncertainty loomed ever larger around her. Though she triumphed on the battlefield, her victories did not weave a tapestry of enduring political influence. King Charles VII, shifting his gaze from the battlefield to the art of negotiation, extended a tepid hand of support. With a spark of determination, Joan set her sights on the town of Compiègne, a place now facing the looming danger of Burgundian forces. In the month of May, in the year 1430, she came forth. Driven by the hope of safeguarding the city and inspiring the hearts of its people, yet the challenges loomed large before her. The Burgundians, steadfast allies of the English, were drawing near, their ranks swelling with superior numbers. On May 23rd, Joan rallied a brave band to venture forth, confronting the besiegers and seeking to unravel their tightly woven lines. As the clash erupted beyond the city's fortifications, the valiant French troops found themselves retreating. Joan stood her ground, a fierce resolve in her heart, ready to shield her comrades as they made their escape. Amidst the turmoil, the city gates shut with an untimely clamor. Joan, along with a handful of companions, found themselves ensnared. In the great expanse beyond the familiar confines, amidst the fierce ranks of Burgundian cavalry, she battled valiantly until the moment she was unseated from her steed and captured. Her capture struck like a thunderclap, echoing through the hearts of those who dared to hope. It was not just for Joan, but for the spirit of the French people as well. The young woman who had once bravely lifted the siege of Orleans and crowned a king now faced the harsh reality of captivity. The Burgundians kept Joan in their grasp for months, viewing her not merely as a captive, but as a valuable political trophy. In the end, she was traded to the English for a considerable amount, a move that solidified her reputation as a formidable adversary to their ambitions. The English perceived her not merely as a foe on the battlefield, but as a formidable emblem of defiance and sacred authority. During her time in captivity, Joan made several daring attempts to break free. In a remarkable moment, she leaped from a towering height, sustaining serious injuries yet managing to survive the fall. Even in chains, her spirit soared unyielding. She insisted on being regarded as a dignified captive of war, rather than a mere criminal or heretic. Yet the English had a different tale to unfold. They never meant to keep her for an endless stretch of time. They sought to unravel her reputation, tarnish her image, and diminish the strength she had come to embody. The stage was set for her trial. The preparations underway. Joan's capture at Compiègne heralded the start of her last, most tumultuous chapter. From the shadows of anonymity, she ascended to the pinnacle of influence, only to find herself ensnared by treachery, forsaken, and cast into the clutches of those who sought her downfall. Yet her tale was just beginning. After enduring months In the clutches of Burgundian captors, Joan of Arc found herself handed over to the English, who transported her to Rouen, the heart of their administration in the occupied lands of Normandy. In the cold month of January, in the year 1431, she found herself at the center of a formal ecclesiastical trial. This was no ordinary circumstance. She stood not as a prisoner of war, but rather as a heretic. This label, heavy with consequence, granted her captors the power to strip away her honor and ultimately condemn her to execution under the stern gaze of church law. The trial unfolded under the direction of the English, yet it was executed by a group of pro-English French clergy with Bishop Pierre Cochin at the helm, fervent adversary of Joan and a devoted supporter of the Burgundian cause. The true aim was not to seek justice, but rather to obliterate the legacy of Joan. In branding her a heretic, the English aimed to cast doubt on the legitimacy of Charles VII, the very king whose coronation she had helped bring to fruition. Joan found herself confined within the cold walls of a secular prison, watched over by male soldiers, an act that stood in stark defiance of the sacred tenets of church law. She faced the grim reality of being denied legal counsel, living under the shadow of threats of torture, and enduring relentless interrogations that stretched on for hours, devoid of rest or any semblance of support, in the face of the most learned men. In France, a 19-year-old peasant girl stood her ground, showcasing an extraordinary blend of intelligence and poise. Throughout the unfolding months, she found herself under scrutiny regarding her visions, her attire, her beliefs, and her place in the conflict. The judges paid particular attention to her assertion of hearing divine voices and her penchant for donning men's attire, an act deemed both heretical and unnatural by the standards of the Church. In the face of mounting pressure, Joan stood, resolute, unwavering in her testimony. She insisted that her voices were a divine gift, that she had followed the sacred call, and that her loyalty to the Church had never wavered. In a moment of profound reflection, when questioned about her standing in the eyes of the divine, she eloquently replied, "If I am not, may God place me there. If I am, may the divine presence sustain me in that place." It was a compelling response, balanced and thoughtful, captivating even those who sought to challenge her. Yet, the conclusion was always a foregone certainty. The demands of politics overshadowed the reality of the situation. Joan was eventually condemned for heresy, based largely on her refusal to renounce her visions and her insistence on wearing male attire, which she had resumed in prison for protection. Her fate was sealed with a finality that echoed through the ages. The girl who once inspired a nation would now find her voice stifled, not through the chaos of war, but by a tribunal of men intent on wiping her from the annals of time. But that was merely an illusion. As dawn broke on May 30th, 1431, the air was thick with tension in Rouen's marketplace, where Joan of Arc stood bound to a wooden stake, her fate sealed as flames engulfed her. At the tender age of 19, she stood on the brink of her journey as the flames danced around her. She is said to have cried out the name of Jesus over and over, pleading for a cross to be held before her gaze. A brave soldier, touched by her unwavering spirit, offered her a small wooden cross, a token of hope and resilience. Onlookers recounted how she met her fate with a serene determination. Her execution was designed to be the ultimate conclusion, cautionary tale, a means to silence a perilous emblem. Yet it unfolded in a way that was entirely contrary, rather than fading into obscurity. Joan emerged as a symbol of sacrifice. Even the keen eyes of English and Burgundian onlookers were unsettled by the unfolding scene. Some shed tears, some voices rose in doubt, pondering if the Church had indeed crossed a line of profound wrongdoing. One of the English clerics present was said to have cried out, "We are lost. We have set ablaze a holy figure." As time unfolded, the essence of Joan only deepened and flourished. Her steadfast belief, her bravery in the face of conflict, and her noble stand during the trial laid the groundwork for an enduring tale. In the year 1456, a quarter of a century after her passing, a formal inquiry initiated by Pope Calixtus III revealed that Joan's trial was deemed invalid. She was officially cleared of all charges, Her name was vindicated, free from the shadows of heresy. In the ages that came after, Joan of Arc emerged as a beacon of unity for the heart of France. In the midst of national turmoil, especially during the French Wars of Religion and later in the Franco-Prussian War, her tale emerged as a shining symbol of bravery, love for country, and a sense of divine purpose. Her life was captured and celebrated by artists, writers, and historians alike. Her visage emerged through the vibrant hues of stained glass, the intricate forms of sculpture, and the eloquent lines of literature. She was revered as a fierce fighter and an enigmatic sage, a humble villager, and a symbol of national pride. In the year 1920, almost 5 centuries following her execution, the Catholic Church bestowed the honor of sainthood upon Joan of Arc, once deemed unworthy by the very guardians of faith. The girl now stood tall as a beacon of reverence and admiration. May 30th, we gather to honor the day of her martyrdom, a moment etched in time. Today, Joan of Arc stands as a legendary figure in the tapestry of world history. Her life unfolded in ways that shattered all preconceived notions. A humble farmer, a visionary, a fierce fighter, a captive, a holy figure. With unwavering belief and determination, she transformed the destiny of a realm. Through flames, she stepped into the realm of myth, and through the tapestry of memory, she continues to exist. In the shadowy hours before dawn, the journey of a medieval baker commenced. In the quiet hours before the first light of dawn, while the world still slumbered, the bakers toiled diligently, crafting their morning creations. As the clock struck midnight, the world around them lay in a deep slumber, shrouded in silence. In the hushed embrace of the cold, still streets, the bakehouse came alive. Flames danced and crackled, while a fine dust of flour floated like whispers in the air, marking the beginning of a rhythmic kneading that promised warmth and comfort. In the medieval era, the creation of bread was a deliberate and thoughtful process. It demanded impeccable timing and a skilled touch. In the heart of the kitchen, bakers tended to their sourdough starters, those magical blends of flour and water, patiently cultivated to breathe life and flavor into their beloved loaves. In a time long past, the world knew not the presence of commercial yeasts. All was guided by intuition, scent, and the wisdom of past encounters. The flour, with its coarse texture, was ground at a local mill, each batch telling a tale of its origin, shaped by the region, the season, and the quality of the grain. In the kitchens of old, some bakers would weave together bran, barley, or beans, skillfully blending them into their dough to extend the precious flour they had on hand. Water flowed forth from wells and public fountains, a vital source for the community. Every element was carefully weighed and blended by hand, frequently under the soft glow of oil lamps or flickering candles. The mixing trough, often crafted from sturdy wood, awaited the dough that needed to be kneaded with care and vigor. A ritual demanding both strength and persistence until it achieved the perfect texture. During the chill of winter, the dough needed a cozy embrace, wrapped in cloths or nestled close to the hearth, to rise just right. In the heart of the kitchen stood the oven. It's a grand domed brick structure that required a patient warming long before the magic of baking could begin. In the heart of the bakery, bundles of wood would crackle and burn, filling the air with warmth. As the walls absorbed the heat, ready to transform simple dough into several golden batches of bread. With great care, the ashes were raked out, and the oven floor was tenderly wiped clean with a damp cloth or a wooden peel, preparing the stage for the loaves to be gracefully slid in. As the town began to awaken, merchants busied themselves arranging their stalls. The church doors swung open for the morning mass, and the bakers proudly presented their first loaves, fresh from the oven. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the atmosphere, wrapping around everyone like a comforting embrace. It was the aroma of nourishment, a reminder of life's essential rhythm. In the medieval realm, bread stood as the very foundation of each and every feast. Yet for the baker, this was merely the dawn of a new chapter. Packages awaited their journey. Patrons sought their needs, and chronicles were meticulously maintained. As the ovens cooled and the counters were cleared, The rhythm of the kitchen continued unabated. For the dough for tomorrow awaited its turn to be mixed before the moon bid farewell once more. In the heart of medieval towns, the baker toiled endlessly. His craft a ceaseless dance of flour and fire to navigate the intricate dance of medieval baking. A baker required far more than mere flour and flame. They depended on a cherished collection of instruments, each honed by the hands of countless artisans over the years. Within the unassuming stone or timber-framed exterior of the bakehouse lay a realm of expertise and craft. A world dedicated to the art of baking, each item carried its own significance. The balance of efficiency could sway the scales between reward and retribution. At the core of every bakery lies the oven, a warm sanctuary where magic unfolds. Crafted from clay or brick, these grand structures took on a dome shape, expertly designed to hold warmth for extended periods. Igniting the oven took its time. Stacks of wood, typically oak or beech, were set ablaze within, allowing the walls to emanate the perfect warmth. Next, the ashes were carefully raked away, and the bread was skillfully loaded onto the peel. A sturdy wooden paddle with a long handle crafted for bakers to deftly slide their loaves into the depths of the blazing chamber, ensuring they avoid the searing heat. The kneading trough stood as a vital piece, often hewn from a single block of wood or constructed from sturdy planks, each telling a tale of craftsmanship and utility. These troughs sprawled wide and low, inviting bakers to immerse themselves fully in their craft, with hands deep in the dough. It was a labor of love as bakers mixed and kneaded, often surrounded by multiple troughs in bustling bakeries, all striving to meet the eager demand. The tools for measuring may have been rudimentary, yet they held immense importance. In the world of baking, artisans often relied on their trusty wooden scoops or lovingly hand-carved measures to gather flour and salt. Though the results could differ from one creation to another, in a world where scales were a rarity, quest for accuracy was a responsibility taken up by local guilds and town officials, who stood as guardians of fairness and precision. Deceiving customers through underweight loaves may result in significant penalties, or even more severe consequences. In days of old, flour found its home in cloth sacks or sturdy wooden barrels, while water was drawn from wells or streams, carried in buckets with care. In certain bakeries, one could find sieves employed to sift away husks and debris, particularly in the more affluent towns, where the expectation for finer bread was held by the wealthier patrons. Yet it was the coarser flours that found their way into the kitchens of the lower classes, a staple in their daily lives. In the heart of the kitchen, the baker's hands told a tale of dedication and skill, each callus a chapter written through years of practice and passion. They sensed the moment the dough reached perfection, felt the warmth of the oven just right, and recognized when a loaf was on the verge of serenading its final crusty melody. All must be tidied and set in order before the dawn of the new day. The tools, seemingly modest, danced within a grander symphony, a cycle of toil, artistry, and warmth that turned unrefined grain into the nourishing bread of life. In the skilled hands of a medieval baker, every tool became a vital instrument in nourishing a bustling town. In the medieval realm, bread transcended mere sustenance. It served as the cornerstone of every feast, and a symbol of one's standing in society in the lives of many. Bread graced the table each day, yet the quality of this staple varied greatly. The choices on your plate revealed much about your essence. In a time of grandeur, the most affluent among the populous nobles, clergy, the thriving merchants sought after the most exquisite bread, a delicacy known as manquette or white bread. Crafted from the finest sifted wheat flour, this bread emerged as a soft, pale delight, a true luxury for the discerning palate. Crafting it demanded additional effort, meticulously grinding, sifting away the bran, and selecting only the finest elements of the grain. This arduous journey of creation drove the price skyward, leaving it unattainable for the everyday folk. For the good people of the town and the diligent tradesmen, ravel or wheaten bread was the staple of their daily fare. Crafted from wheat, it retained a rustic quality, bearing a deeper hue and offering greater nourishment. It found harmony between affordability and excellence, leading bakers to offer it in larger amounts than mancha. In certain towns, rules were established to ensure that this bread was sold at a set weight and price, safeguarding the vulnerable from the greed of bakers. Yet for those who toiled, the laborers, peasants, and beggars, sustenance came in the form of maslin, or black bread, crafted from a blend of rye, barley, oats, and whatever humble grains could be found. This bread bore a weighty presence, its texture rugged, and at times a hint of bitterness lingered on the palate. During challenging times, bakers would often find creative ways to extend their ingredients, incorporating beans, peas, or chestnut flour into their recipes. It was satisfying indeed, yet it served as a poignant reminder of the roles we play in the grand tapestry of life. Within the sacred walls of monasteries, the humble loaf took on many forms, each reflecting the unique traditions of the order that crafted it. In the quiet corners of monasteries, monks partook of humble loaves, honoring their vows of simplicity and poverty. Meanwhile, the more affluent establishments crafted exquisite white bread, reserved for esteemed guests, and the higher echelons of clergy. Bread served as a means of connection among people. In the grand halls of feasting, the affluent lords would employ trencherous-thick, hearty slices of stale bread as their plates, a testament to both their status and the culinary customs of the time. Once the meal had concluded, the remnants were either consumed by the servants or generously bestowed upon those in need. In times of need, bread was generously offered, a humble gift bestowed at the gates of monasteries or from the kitchens of the noble. Each loaf carried with it a story of compassion and community, a testament to the spirit of giving that flourished. In those days, a master of the baking craft needed to grasp these distinctions. They crafted a variety of loaves, each with its own unique character. Each day they crafted an array of varieties to satisfy the desires of the whole town. Bread was more than mere sustenance. It was a tale of economy, hierarchy, and identity woven into every crust. In a realm where the majority thrived on scant resources, the humble loaf of bread became the measure of abundance and the lifeline for the less fortunate. In the heart of medieval Europe, the art of baking transcended mere skill. It was indeed a matter of law. In a time long past, bread held a sacred place in the hearts of the people deemed vital for survival. Its creation was not left to chance. Local authorities and trade guilds wove a tapestry of rules and regulations to ensure that this cherished staple was crafted with care and precision. For a baker, straying from the path of tradition didn't merely spell trouble for the shop. It wove a tale of misfortune that echoed through the ovens and flour-dusted counters. It might lead to a tale of public disgrace, a shattering of one's means of survival, or perhaps even a journey into confinement. In many towns and cities, the profession was under the watchful eye of guilds. In days of old, there existed groups of skilled artisans who took it upon themselves to oversee the standards of their craft, ensuring excellence in quality, guiding the hands of apprentices, setting fair prices, and managing the flow of materials. In the days of yore, bakers' guilds took it upon themselves to weave a tapestry of rules, ensuring that every loaf of bread met the exacting standards of weight, size, and ingredients. These standards were non-negotiable. They were upheld by consistent evaluations and severe consequences. In the world of baking, new artisans often embarked on a journey of apprenticeship, dedicating several years to honing their craft before they could finally take the reins of their own ovens. Being part of the guild was not just an honor, it was a safeguard against the uncertainties of the world. It bestowed upon bakers the privilege to peddle their goods in the town market, ensuring a measure of economic steadiness. Yet it also tied them to a web of responsibility. In a world where the art of baking is held in high esteem, a baker found guilty of selling loaves that fell short of weight or using inferior ingredients faced the stern judgment of guild officials. They wielded the power to impose fines, suspend the baker's privileges, or even strip away their cherished right to create bread beyond the guilds. The watchful eyes of municipal authorities kept a keen eye on the quality of bread. In England, there existed a fascinating law known as the Assaz of Bread and Ale, tracing its roots back to the 13th century. This law meticulously outlined the precise amount of bread a customer was entitled to receive for a fixed price, a price that gracefully shifted in accordance with the ever-changing costs of grain. In a time when the balance of trade was as delicate as the finest pastry, there existed a cadre of officials revered and feared, who took on the roles of bread-weighers and ale-tasters. With a keen eye and a discerning palate, they would embark on unannounced inspections, seeking out those who dared to stray from the sacred standards. And their findings would echo through the marketplace, marking the violators for all to see. The consequences for violating bread laws could be quite severe. In a time of harsh judgment, certain bakers found themselves in the stocks. Exposed to the scorn of the crowd, their misdeeds met with jeers and the cruel toss of stale bread and spoiled fare. Some were compelled to march through the streets, bearing inferior loaves draped around their necks. In the most dire of circumstances, a habitual wrongdoer might find themselves cast out from the trade, or even banished from the very town they once called home. The essence of these rules transcended mere fairness, were woven into the very fabric of survival itself. In times of famine or inflation, the specter of bread riots loomed large, a vivid reminder of the desperation that could ignite the hearts of the hungry. The leaders of the town were acutely aware that if the townsfolk began to feel they were being deprived of their rightful sustenance, a wave of discontent might soon rise. For the medieval baker, precision was not merely a matter of pride, was a duty mandated by law. Each loaf was held to a standard, for in the gaze of the guild and the townsfolk alike, baking transcended mere trade. It was a noble calling, a duty to the community. Operating a medieval bakehouse was not merely a challenge. It was fraught with peril. Fire danced between the realms of essential warmth and lurking danger. To create those hardy loaves, ovens needed to blaze at astonishing temperatures, and keeping that fiery heat alive required the relentless burning of vast amounts of wood. This often took place in snug, enclosed spaces crafted from timber, thatch, or stone, all of which bore the marks of years spent enveloped in smoke. In the heart of the bakehouse, a grand domed oven, crafted from clay or brick, stands proudly against the outer wall, inviting the gentle caress of airflow and the ease of loading. A testament to the artistry of bread making. With a flicker of flames, bakers ignited a fierce blaze within the very heart of the oven. This was no ordinary campfire. It was a fierce inferno, designed to heat the sturdy walls that would hold and share their warmth for hours on end. When the flames had danced and flickered for just the right amount of time, the bakers would carefully draw out the glowing embers, tenderly cleanse the hearth with a damp cloth or a brush soaked in sand, and then embark on the art of baking. Yet, a fleeting lapse in attention might usher in disaster. Flickering embers might break free, thatched roofs could catch flame, and in the tightly clustered towns and cities, a fire from the bakehouse could race forth with alarming swiftness. Thus, it became a common practice for towns to mandate that bakehouses be situated on the fringes or constructed with particular fire-resistant materials. Should the baker have the means to do so, those who bake encountered various health hazards. The relentless embrace of heat and smoke left its mark on the lungs and skin, a testament to their enduring struggle. The toil of lifting flour sacks and the relentless kneading of enormous batches of dough gradually took its toll on the body. Scars of labor adorned the arms, hands, and faces of those who toiled, each burn a testament to the fiery dance of loading and unloading hot loaves with long wooden peels. In certain cities, particularly those with less affluence, communal bakehouses flourished, serving as a gathering place for the community. In the heart of the community, families would lovingly craft their dough at home, only to journey to a central oven where a skilled baker waited to transform their creations into golden delights. Though this system conserved fuel and diminished fire hazards in private residences, it brought forth its own set of dangers. Loaves might meet their fate through fire, theft, or deceitful hands. In the realm of daily life, bakers bore the weighty responsibility of ensuring that every household's bread was of the highest quality, for any slip in their craft could invite formal grievances from the community in the heart of the town. Where the aroma of freshly baked bread filled the air, a bakehouse stood as a cornerstone of daily life. Yet, when misfortune struck, be it a fire, illness, or an unforeseen accident, the consequences would echo through the streets, touching every soul in the community. The baker was not the only one to endure hardship. The whole community mourned. Together, in the face of these perils, the bakehouse stood as the vibrant center of everyday existence. In this realm of toil and warmth, where the pulse of daily life thrived, the dance of risk and reward intertwined with each radiant loaf emerging from the flames. The tapestry of medieval life, the figure of the baker is frequently painted as a male guild member or an eager apprentice. Yet, woven into this narrative are the often unseen women, whose vital contributions to the daily crafting of bread deserve recognition. In numerous towns and villages, particularly those nestled away from bustling cities, it was the women who took on the cherished role of bakers, serving both their families and the wider community. In the heart of the bakehouse, their presence was vital, ensuring the ovens blazed with warmth and the community was nourished. In the heart of rural communities, it was often the women who took on the cherished tradition of household baking in the warmth of their homes. They crafted bread for their loved ones, utilizing communal ovens or modest hearths. During bountiful times, they would share their creations, selling loaves at the bustling market or right from their doorsteps. For countless women, this side venture in bread provided a unique opportunity for self-sustaining income. In the bustling cities, the widows of bakers found themselves granted the opportunity to carry on their husbands' legacies, transforming into successful bakery proprietors in their own right. In the realm of guilds, a landscape often shaped by male influence, there existed pockets of inclusion that welcomed others into their fold. In some areas, particularly in regions of Germany and France, the contributions of female bakers were officially acknowledged. Women had the opportunity to inherit licenses, manage bakeries, and mentor apprentices, including their daughters or nieces. Some embarked on a quest for full guild rights and emerged victorious. Though this journey demanded skillful navigation through legal and social obstacles, in the heart of the bakehouses, women toiled alongside men, engaging in the demanding tasks of mixing dough in large troughs, transporting water and flour, mastering the art of oven temperatures, and peddling their freshly baked bread in bustling markets. In the bustling streets, many could be seen as they navigated their way, baskets perched expertly upon their heads or carts brimming with freshly baked loaves. Each step a testament to their craft, these women stood at the heart of the bakery, engaging with customers and overseeing the daily flow of sales. In the tapestry of work, women wove their efforts with dedication. Yet their contributions often went unnoticed, overshadowed by the accolades bestowed upon their male counterparts, who received greater rewards for the same toil. They found themselves exposed to claims of peddling loaves that were lighter than promised or of inferior quality, and the consequences for such missteps were severe. Yet, their role was crucial, particularly in times of conflict or disease, when men were away, and it was the women who held the fort, ensuring the food supply endured. The art of baking wove itself into the fabric of motherhood and the nurturing spirit of caretaking. In a time when the art of baking was revered, a woman who excelled in this craft was held in high esteem. She nurtured her family with delicious meals, upheld cherished traditions, and shared her wisdom with those around her in countless households. Cherished recipes and baking methods were passed down from mother to daughter, treasured like precious heirlooms. In every nook of medieval society, from the grand kitchens of the nobility to the humble ovens of the village, women wove their influence into the very fabric of the world through the art of bread-making, though history often left them in the shadows. Their hands were among the first to caress the dough that would sustain entire communities in the heart of medieval Europe. Bread transcended mere sustenance. It was revered, a symbol of life itself. Few institutions have woven their influence into the fabric of bread-making quite like the Church, which not only partook in immense quantities of bread, but also crafted its symbolism regulation, and distribution. In the sacred spaces of monasteries, cathedrals, and humble village chapels, bread emerged as a powerful emblem of life, sacrifice, and the divine presence that envelops us all. At the core of this bond lay the Eucharist, a sacred tradition where bread transformed into the very essence of Christ's body. The crafting of this bread, commonly referred to as the host, adhered to meticulous regulations. Only the most exquisite white wheat flour was deemed worthy. It had to remain unlaid. In the quietude of monasteries, certain monks embraced a sacred calling, crafting bread in hushed reverence, often under the cloak of night, within their specially designed ovens. These wafers bore sacred symbols, each one treated with the utmost reverence, as if they held the weight of ancient tales within their delicate forms. Yet the bond between the church and bread extended well beyond mere ritual. In the tapestry of medieval Europe, monasteries emerged as significant stewards of land and bountiful providers of sustenance. Numerous individuals operated their own bakehouses, crafting abundant loaves of bread for the monks, their laborers, and visitors alike. In the quiet hours of the monastery, the daily fare often unfolded like a simple yet hearty tale, featuring generous portions of bread accompanied by creamy cheese, a refreshing ale, or a warm bowl of pottage for those in need. Monasteries stood as beacons of hope, offering alms bread to beggars and weary travelers who lingered at their gates. In the heart of the community, cathedrals and parish churches often found themselves graced with generous bread donations from local bakers and affluent patrons, weaving a tapestry of gratitude and support. On feast days, these offerings may grace the tables, find their way into the hands of those in need, or be paraded in ceremonial processions in certain towns. There existed unique bread altars where loaves were consecrated and distributed in remembrance of those who had passed on. The church took on a guiding role as well. In certain towns, the ecclesiastical courts took on the role of mediators in disputes between bakers and their customers, particularly in regions where the local clergy held sway over the commercial affairs of the community. They took it upon themselves to uphold just prices and accurate weights, driven by a conviction that deceiving customers of their bread was not merely an act of dishonesty, but a transgression against moral integrity. On sacred feast days, bakers crafted special breads, rich and spiced loaves molded into crosses, doves, or other revered shapes. These festive loaves danced to the cadence of the liturgical calendar, often exchanged among the community to weave tighter the threads of faith and camaraderie. In the medieval realm of thought, bread transcended mere sustenance. It became a source of spiritual nourishment for the baker. Providing bread to the church was a calling that transcended mere financial gain. It signified engaging in the sacred dance of existence, where dough transformed into something heavenly and the oven resonated with both tradition and the everyday. In the medieval realm, the humble loaf held a profound connection to authority. For those in power, rulers, mayors, guildmasters, and kings, the art of managing the price, supply, and quality of bread held equal weight to the pursuit of order itself. In a world where bread served as the cornerstone of sustenance for the majority, often constituting 70% or more of an individual's daily fare, its presence was intricately tied to the very fabric of political stability. One of the clearest manifestations of this was seen in the implementation of price controls. In the annals of history, cities and kingdoms took it upon themselves to set official rates for bread, enshrined in laws such as the assize of bread and ale in England. These regulations intricately linked the price of a loaf to the ever-changing cost of grain, weaving a tale of commerce and sustenance. When the prices of grain surged because of unfortunate harvests, relentless droughts, or the chaos of war, bakers were anticipated to modify the dimensions of their loaves rather than alter the price. In times of scarcity, bakers faced the challenge of crafting smaller loaves while maintaining the same price, often at the expense of their own profits. Yet, should a baker be discovered deceiving customers or offering loaves lighter than the law permits, the consequences could be severe. Authorities viewed cheating not merely as an act of theft, but as a profound betrayal of the trust placed in them by the public. In certain towns, bakers faced public humiliation, compelled to stand in stocks while clutching their meager loaves, a spectacle for all to witness. Some faced penalties, public disgrace, or were outright excluded from the art of baking. In the world of baking, artisans were tasked with the meticulous duty of documenting every grain they procured, the flour they transformed, and the countless loaves that emerged from their ovens. Inspectors might arrive unexpectedly to assess the weight of loaves and scrutinize the ovens. In moments of great tension, like those wrought by war or famine, bakers found themselves under the watchful eye of military guards, tasked with ensuring that the precious loaves were shared fairly among the people. The bread riots stood as a formidable testament to the depths of discontent, a vivid illustration of the people's struggle and their cries for justice. In times when bread grew rare or beyond reach, the spark of unrest could ignite swiftly among the masses. In these moments, bakers may find themselves under suspicion, accused of stockpiling flour or catering to the affluent. Shops could be ransacked and precious records lost to the chaos in their quest for harmony. City officials occasionally took the bold step of commandeering grain supplies or providing subsidies for bread, all in an effort to stave off hunger and quell unrest. Due to its pivotal role in existence, bread emerged as an instrument of both generosity and dominance. During grand public celebrations or sacred festivals, rulers would generously distribute bread, seeking to win the hearts of the people. Within the grand halls of castles, lords meticulously provided for their retainers and servants, weaving a tapestry of loyalty through generous supplies. In the heart of towns, the presence of a steady stream of affordable bread became a symbol of wise and just leadership. In the realm of medieval politics, bread transcended mere sustenance. It embodied the very essence of power. At the crossroads of desire and power, the baker found himself poised. Though seldom acknowledged in tales or celebrated in verses, the medieval baker crafted a legacy that molded the very essence of daily existence. In a realm adorned with grand castles and majestic cathedrals, where kings ruled and knights roamed, it was the modest baker who nourished the hearts and bellies of the people in the stillness of night. As the world slumbered, their efforts unfolded, weaving a tapestry of influence that reached into every home come dawn. The baker's impact reached far beyond the warmth of the ovens, weaving itself into the very essence of medieval culture. From the moment of our first breath to the final farewell, bread has been a steadfast companion through every chapter of existence. It graced the sacred moments of baptisms, wove its way through the joyous celebrations of weddings, provided solace in times of mourning, and was revered at the altars of the church. Each loaf crafted was steeped in a rich tapestry of age-old customs, faith, and the essence of endurance. Through the ages, the art of baking has been lovingly handed down. Often nestled within the embrace of families or the guidance of eager apprentices, skills were imparted through hands-on practice and the rhythm of repetition. How to sense when the dough has reached its perfect state. How to gauge the oven's warmth without relying on a thermometer. How to extend flour during lean times while still preserving its quality. These traditions were intricately woven into the fabric of place and community. In one corner of the land, a baker might choose to embrace the earthy flavors of rye and oats, while in another, the choice could lean towards the hearty barley or the allure of imported wheat. Each town possessed its unique essence. As the sands of time shifted and cities blossomed, while trade flourished, the baker's role transformed in remarkable ways. As the late Middle Ages unfolded, the landscape of baking transformed dramatically. What once thrived as a humble household craft began to evolve into a bustling industry, with commercial bakeries emerging as a prominent feature of the era. With the advent of windmills and water mills, the art of flour production flourished, while enhanced road systems paved the way for grains to journey seamlessly from farms to bustling markets. Even with these advancements, the fundamental cadence of baking persisted, unwavering in its tradition: awaken, mold, craft, ignite, nourish. In a dance as ancient as time itself, the medieval baker emerged as the silent guardian of a timeless tradition. Even today, the whispers of their endeavors linger on, across the tapestry of languages. The term for companion finds its roots in the Latin word companies, which beautifully translates to with bread, a gentle nudge that breaking bread signifies, the intertwining of lives. In a time long past, the guilds that governed the bakers crafted the very essence of what we now recognize as food safety standards. The communal ovens of medieval villages served as the heart of the community, nurturing the spirit of togetherness that has blossomed into the neighborhood bakeries we cherish today. Ultimately, the legacy of the medieval bakers extends beyond the loaves they crafted. It resides in the enduring spirit of a community. Amidst the elements of flour, fire, and unwavering belief, they nourished not just the physical form but the very spirit itself. They sustained whole communities,